All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday to you who are watching live. Welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where artists, tattooers, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in live events just like today, participate in the Zoom. We have drawing groups, all sorts of stuff, but this is a community to make all of that happen in 2021. All right. So on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network, I'm going to show you, we have lots of different on-demand reruns and 24/7 programming coming soon, where you can watch all of the 42 and counting past podcast of the Tattoo Collecting Podcast. All right, we're going to show you the community, and I want to highlight one of our active members, Kyle, who's also on the Reinventing support team. You can find him in our Reinventing community, posting new work and growing. He will be fun to watch from his apprenticeship to professional tattooing career. So guys, you can find him at Kyle B1580 at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. Another cool thing that we have going on right now are these sample packs. We've got like 50 going out today. So you guys go to reinventingthetattoo.com/sample pack to sign up to get some. We've got raw pigments. We've got Cheyenne equipment with a bunch of goodies from them and a box of cartridges too. So make sure you guys do that. We've also got some pretty cool designs by Ricardo Sturdivant happening that those are cool. We have a limited quantity of those. So if you sign up, you can get one of those too. Some of the regular events that we have, if you guys haven't been watching within the community, are our drawing groups. So every Sunday at 1, you can find Jason Leeser. He's got a Reinventing drawing group, encouraging all of you guys to join, bring a design you're working on, anything like that. Same with Jake Meeks of the affiliate Fireside Tattoo Network at 9 a.m. every single Monday. Brand new, we've got Ricardo Sturdivant with his drawing group. This week, we're focusing on drawing large to small every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. While I'm on our events page, I must note that next Tuesday, we're going to dive into some academic level stuff with ancient American art presented by PhD Professor Maylene D. Hornis-Root. So if you guys are into your history, which I assume and I hope that you are, check that event out for sure at Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I'm going to ramble just a little bit more for you guys. I do want to thank our awesome sponsors for making this community and events like these capable of happening for free. So we'll check those out. We've got inkjet stencils. Now, inkjet stencils we all are familiar with. Donna has been a great asset to put together stencils, save time, money. Everybody knows them. inkjetstencils.com. We've also got raw pigments, acrylic-free tattoo pigments who've been supporting the community. They will be traveling coming up next month in Chicago, as well as Dallas in August, the Ink Tarts Expo as well in August, and many more. So check out their websites at rawpigments.co. We also have Dermalize Pro, known in the US as D-Lize Pro. They tattoo art healing aftercare stuff. So check them out at dermalize.pro. We also have World Tattoo events supporting us, Fireside Tattoo Network, and the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols. Beyond that, I think we're ready to kick it off and set it off to you, Jordan. How are you doing?
Doing good. Morning, Lauren.
Good morning.
Afternoon. So yeah, podcast number, what is this, 45?
43.
43.
Oh, 43?
Yeah.
Nice.
Counting's hard.
Counting is hard. I don't count anymore.
Counting's hard.
Oh, Fawn just got back from Vegas. She's been gone for like
jet-lagged,
a whole
man.
week. Yeah, I know. You texted me last night at like 12. I seen it this morning, but it was like 12:30. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that
like
was as
4
soon as
It's
we
like
landed.
4. It's like 4 o'clock in your brain.
Nah. Travel. Too many travels.
Yeah, did you have a good time?
No, travel was great. We just had like an hour-long delay in Vegas waiting for our flight. The flight itself was actually very smooth. The pilot made up like a half hour up in the air, which was pretty cool.
A lot of times that happens.
What'd he do?
You can make up time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
were
were.
pushing you the right way.
Nice.
He had to like fly at a few different altitudes to like find a smooth speed for us because there were so many little pop-up storms everywhere. But so one of the things I love about flying, and I always look forward to flying when the sun is setting, is it's one of my favorite color theory lessons. Because you can see like
you see everything.
yeah, like all the color principles that we talk about, all the complementary and the flip-flop, it's all right there. And it like
Live.
I never sit next to somebody that's like interested in color enough to be like, oh, look at that orange. Wait 3 minutes and it's going to be hot pink.
So was that you on the plane? Was that you on the plane sitting next to your friend?
Yes. Yes. I was sitting next to, so our buddy Scott Shawver came out with us. And he's actually like a local radio personality up in Marion. So he and I are very good at like talking to one another and just like
The conversation.
just gabbing. Yeah, just
rolls.
gabbing. But like his friend Alicia, who was also with us, she was like completely lost on some of the things that we were talking about. Like we'd jump from like, look at the color of that cloud to like, what kind of microphones do you use?
Nice.
But yeah, it was a super good flight. Super full. There were babies, but they were not
The last time I
too
flew,
loud, too
both layovers,
unhappy.
babies, 2 different planes, 2 different babies, both times right next to me.
So I did. You'll be proud of me, Jordan.
That's
I
rough.
was
That's
so
rough.
so. My
My
friend
bad.
Scott, he was recently in a motorcycle wreck, so he was like immobilized from the knee down. So we got to sit right up front in the very first row of seats. We had a little bit of leg room, but also I could hear the flight attendants gabbing with one another. So I was like, "Hey, you guys ever see any UFOs?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You would have been proud. They were like, the one guy looked at me like I was nuts. I think he was a little bit of a diva, and I think he thought I was gonna be a diva, but I wasn't. But the guy that like realized that I was just being funny was like, nah, I wish. He's like, we only have like this little port window to look out. So if anybody's gonna see anything, it's gonna be you guys. We won't see it. You've never seen anything at all? And just as we're talking about it, this plane zips by. And I was like, that's identified. That's a plane. It has been identified, everybody.
I see it's called.
I was like, but if I see a Tic Tac out there, conversation's different.
I'm so happy that you asked. I just want to ask everyone now. I've just
I
been,
want to
I've been,
talk to the
I've been
pilots.
on one about
I want
it
to
lately.
talk to the pilots and be like, so you've got the best view. Tell me what you've seen.
Tell me about that panorama, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure those pilots might have seen something.
They had to have.
The amount that the Navy's seeing them off the coast.
Yeah,
It's insane.
for sure.
I mean, it really is just a question of how deep does the money run. So, like, are the pilots on the inside to where they get the bribe from the authorities to keep the goddamn mouth shut?
Well,
I think
Is that part of the pilot code? Like when you sign up to be one, they're
I was
like,
looking
"Hey,
for an ashtray a minute to go to.
by the way,
but I don't know. Everyone's coming out about it now, you know.
can't talk about UFOs.
Every,
like your
because now everyone in the
non-compete
government's
contingency.
talking about it. Like it's just like an open subject. But how much are they covering up? So there's potential of something. But
You know, as I was flying, I looked out and the sky was like pink, purple, peach, you know, all the colors. And I was like, you know what? The aliens are probably up there like, you guys ready to go on a booze cruise? We're going to go do a lap around Earth, freak out the humans, and then we'll come back.
that's what
But, like, it'd be just
hope-
like
I
us
hope
going
it's
to,
something
like,
that.
It'd be just like us going to like any roadside attraction.
Because imagine if we have that if we had that technology, we
All
had
right,
our
guys.
personalities. Like aliens are going to have. Me and Emily were talking about it earlier. Aliens are going to have different personalities and stuff. So you'd think. Oh, I mean, you'd hope.
Some
No, but,
aliens could be that cruel kid with the magnifying glass. Some aliens
So you
could be
have
that
all
weirdo.
sorts of different aliens.
Some
coming.
aliens
Some
could
that
be
just
weird
wanna-
probers. But I bet most UFOs that are coming down here, I bet they're either just like drones that are capturing information, or they're just people sightseeing. Like I hear Earth
Seems
is
more
beautiful
plausible.
this time of millennia.
Could you imagine being the like tour guide? Okay, guys, on your left, if you look through your binoculars, you can see down into Earth. Earth has been a closed environment. They're completely ignorant. They have no idea that we're here. Just go ahead and check them out in their natural
Right,
environment.
and now we're gonna zip away at
Okay.
65,000
All right,
miles an
now
hour.
on to the next.
No, don't startle them. Don't startle them. They'll throw sticks at us.
65,000
Don't
miles an
ruffle their
hour is how
feathers.
fast these things can move.
Their sticks go boom. So I mean,
They'll get scared and kill each other.
we did this once.
Right.
It ended poor.
Right.
We've tried a few times.
You want to see these guys freak out?
Somebody
contact.
right, right.
They
See
call
that
us
dude down there in the
Revelation. I
desert?
don't know.
Let's go fuck with that dude. in the desert
The second coming. I don't.
Oh, it
what?
was
I
a
don't know.
white horse.
there. Right?
It wasn't a horse.
I hope they're just like up with pop culture and they like to keep up with like they're checking the internet, they're seeing what's popular and stuff.
Watch him like come down and visit. Be like, I implanted that song in his brain.
Do you know
You're
why
welcome.
all pop songs are only 4 chords? Because those are the ones we can hear.
Because those are the only ones we can hear.
We can only hear those 4 chords. Jam it out.
Yeah, instead of binary, it's like
Yes.
That's what's been going on.
quadrinary. Mm-hmm.
Seems more plausible than what's actually happening.
So what have you learned over the last week about unidentified objects?
What have I
in the
learned
sky?
over the past week?
Yeah.
Well, right here, I just so happen, I didn't bring it up for the podcast. I just so happen to have it here because I've been reading it the past couple of days. But this is like the whole government report that they just came out on the 25th about their assessment of what the UFO what they think so far it is. And it really doesn't say shit, and it doesn't say anything about aliens, but they definitely don't think it's anything else. They don't think it's another foreign government. The technology is just too much. It's too far ahead. But there's 144 reports originating from USG sources. Of these, 80 reports involved observation with multiple sensors. So 80 of those were actually seen by planes and have sensors and videos. And then 144 of those were totally recorded.
That's crazy. That's like that's pretty.
And
that's too many to be
between
anomalies.
2004 and 2021. It looks like.
Oh, and that's a limited time frame.
So
So for those of us that don't read too good, what's your synopsis? Because I know you've read all 140.
My synopsis is they go into, so one of the cool things that I like of this is that they talk a lot about the technologies and the technologies that we have right now. So the technology we have, like the sensors and cameras, they're meant to see certain things for certain training exercises and for certain whatever those planes are meant to do, wherever they're going to go do them in the country or for training and for whatever. They're not meant to pick up objects that go 65,000 miles an hour.
Right.
Objects that go into space, into the water and stuff. And so they're saying that they think there's a lot more to these objects and stuff, like, because they're not even able to see them properly with with the sensors that we have. They're seeing with their eyes, but they're also sometimes just seeing them with sensors. So what they're focusing on now is putting lots of money into creating the technology to be able to capture them. So now actually having like a straight up study of what's happening.
So basically,
planes
like
are going to have
much
sensors for
faster
things
cameras.
like that. Yeah.
That'd be the first thing. We'd
why
need
is it-
faster cameras, faster like rates of exposure,
My
whatever
favorite
it is. F-stop. Is that
Why
what that is?
why is it everybody's photo of a UFO is blurry? I'm like, well, it's really high and far away.
And they're apparently fast. The reports of them are fast.
They may go quick.
They ever took a picture of your cat running at you? Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
blurry
like
as shit.
13 miles an hour.
Yeah, right.
Take out your brand new phone and spin it. Take
Right.
a picture and see how it comes out.
Yeah. So it's got me excited because it's just like, holy shit, they're finally saying something about it. It's nothing new to me. You know, I've seen these things. I know that they're up there, and I've loved to entertain it for so long. But there's been nothing coming out about it. And now there's an actual report of something. I don't even care if it's not aliens. You know, I honestly am on the side of aliens, but
Honestly, I'm on the side of aliens,
I want to believe.
but
If it's another government, that's so cool because it's the technology. The technology is so dope. If anybody has this technology, if it's another government, it will spur up in our government. Like it will spur up somewhere else. And if it can go in the sky, in the water, in the air, and it can go 65,000 miles an hour and then turn on a dime like nothing.
I just want to
Holy
go for a
fuck.
ride.
Imagine the technologies that could come about because of that. There's some understanding of like gravity and physics that like is totally not in the realm of what we know right now.
I have a
So
hunch that we
cool.
don't fully understand gravity. I think there's a lot more to gravity than
I think
just the
that's
earth spinning. I think there's
Totally.
anytime I call it a magnetic pole, people look at me like I'm nuts. So I don't know the word to describe it, but there is some other force. Like I think yes, the centrifugal motion makes gravity, but I think there's more to it. I think Earth's gravity is special. And I think once we start as physicists, I can't speak. As physicists start understanding gravity more, it's going to change how we can like work with it. And, you know, I mean, I've seen videos of like this 14-year-old kid that engineered this super duper fast, like magnetic rail system, but it was like a small scale. But like once this thing started going and it worked off of like the magnetic field around this device made it basically impervious to gravity.
Mhm.
So it could just gain speed and it could stop on a dime, but it could gain speed and like, I wish I knew
Right.
more about that project, but I think there's just a lot to gravity.
I do
think there's
too.
more
I think the
there.
force in and of itself, there's just so much more to it, like probably down on the quantum
Mhm.
scale. And like, as you go, real deep into time and space, like you honestly, like really like going
I just like that
into
you're
it.
just so matter of fact, like just when you go real deep into time and space.
Yeah,
Like, I
but
just wanna-
but like think about it, like I just
was.
think like
That's why it
like
made me laugh.
gravity on that level, we have no understanding of it. Like we've just created quantum physics not that long ago to
Right.
even try to understand what's going on behind, like below a molecule. And the reason why I say time and space is because time just works at a whole different scale down there.
Well,
And then it's space, because there's like the space between things, the space between like a neutron and an electron is like the distance between us and the moon when you're that small. If you were the size of us standing on it, which would be the
Yeah.
size of like a quark. So it's all
That's
space.
a lot at once, but yeah.
Ben's like science.
But
Science.
I'm not just trying to get all like time and space, man, but
No, it
like
makes sense because
really
our,
like the time and
our
space
perception
thing.
of time is based on how we rotate around an object. Like, so it makes sense that our perception of time can be completely different than anyone else. We call it a year because it goes through a cycle that we see.
Mhm.
So like
That
Well,
time is
now
only
you-
relative to us.
right.
And then
That
how
could be a
gravity
blink
fits it.
in another
fits into
People
it.
say
situation.
it's a lifetime. Well, it's our lifetime. There's tortoises that live to be how long? There's whales that are 600 years old. And they found that one really old shark with that fucked up weird tooth that was like 9,000 years old. or
That's so
something like
crazy.
that.
Can you imagine being
My
that
numbers
old,
might be a little off, but
living? I know, but like
9,000 years old.
9,000.
I think it was like 700, but I don't remember. So.
Let's think about.
I
Let's
know
talk
there's
about some of the
I know there's
trees.
a couple 100-year-old whales, I think.
Some of these trees on the planet really are thousands of years old.
Right.
Can you imagine the things that those trees have seen?
Yeah, let's cut them down and build stuff with them.
That's a great idea.
You know? I think
Yeah,
that's-
it's a real good idea.
That
Let's
tree
build a
lasts that
road
long.
through one.
It's gonna last
Better
another
idea.
9,000 years in my backyard as a nice shed.
I'm not even going to use it. I'm just going to cut it down and stack it in slabs and tell people I have it.
Firewood.
Firewood. It smells
Tell
real
people
nice
I
when I
have
roast
it.
my hog on it.
Right. I just like to
Mhm.
smoke stuff with it. 9,000-year-old tree.
It's ridiculously sad.
Oh my god,
It's
that's like that.
ridiculously
You,
sad.
like you monster.
So you guys
you,
obviously
monster.
remember
I
like
am a monster.
the Notre Dame
God,
Cathedral
God.
fire.
Yeah.
I haven't kept up on where the progress on the repairs for that are, but one of the things that made it seem next to impossible to repair is that the
wood.
the
doesn't
wood,
exist.
the
Yeah.
trees that they used for the wood of the support beams, like those trees don't exist anymore.
Yep.
Like the building's so old, and those trees at that time were so old, that species isn't even around.
Anything
So like,
that they would repair or replace it with would not look correct.
mhm.
And it was such a major historical, architectural, blah 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 blah. Before I step out and say stuff I don't know about, that it was impossible to get it to look right.
I wonder what they were-
structure are we talking about?
The Notre Dame
Yeah, that's
Cathedral.
what I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know they're working on it. I know like immediately wealthy people came out of the woodwork to
Oh,
save that,
yeah.
which was awesome.
That's crazy that it's
so-
built with trees that just aren't even around anymore.
Yeah.
It couldn't be the same thing that it
Yeah.
I
was.
can't even find something close.
I'm
It's not
sure they
even-
don't even have the fucking blueprints down to like what it was in the beginning there. I don't know. They probably got
Oh,
that place mapped out. like crazy.
Freemasons have done DMT. They all have the blueprints.
You just about
That
made me spit my
mapped-
coffee out.
mapped into their atoms.
Yes. They all have the
Freemasons do
blueprint. We have the
DMT.
blueprint, Jordan. We have it. Look, Alex Gray, he's got the blueprint. We all have the blueprint of those cathedrals. It's built into us.
We just know.
We just know.
We just know. It's probably.
I wish I
one of
spoke
the
that language.
Most photographed buildings of all times as
Mhm.
well. They can probably just lay it out from.
Well, that's the
pictures
cool
from-
thing. The stonework can all be restored, or new limestone can be carved and sculptures can be replaced. The windows can, some of those glass formulas are not available, but like with our current color technology, we can get pretty close to matching all those jewel tones that would have been in the like stained glass windows There's going to be a lot of like stained glass. They always go through and they like paint on top of the stained glass. So that'll be a process, but it's cool to see that it's possible.
Are they trying? Have they started doing anything?
Oh yeah. They've been working on it for right away.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
That.
There was like billions of dollars raised.
I feel like everyone
right
talked
off
about
the
it
rip
and then
to
no one
repair
talked
it.
about it anymore.
Well, the conundrum was the trees. So I wonder, we should look into what the answer to that is.
If only there was a machine that had access to infinite information.
Hey Siri, what's the progress on the Notre Dame Cathedral? Here's my phone.
If only.
Oh, she is listening.
Oh, she's already on it. Could you imagine being like a average construction worker there, and then suddenly your job is like, you're now going to work on the cathedral.
Right.
Be prepared.
Everybody mobilize.
Yeah, I mean,
Be prepared. No pressure.
no pressure.
It's only
Just a
it's only
national
Notre Dame.
monument. You know, just people all around the world travel to see this.
Oh, did I dash that?
Don't fuck up.
They're probably gonna try to mimic it just as much as it was.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's supposed to be done by 2024.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When did it burn down? Was it like 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being assigned to that as an employee.
That would be a dream come true for me. It would.
Now go ahead and screw into this. How old of another piece of wood?
Oh, I feel like
Don't
if I
cross
had the
that
opportunity to work on a project like that so many like artists before me worked on, it would be like an opportunity to like commune with them, like to put my hands on things that they worked on. And then, you know how I always talk about like how collaborative projects are so precious because it's multiple sparks of like inspiration. It would be like adding my own, having the privilege to add my own layer to something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, it'd be a dream
feel
come
that.
true. I feel like if I had a master's degree or a doctorate, I would definitely be an art restoration. I would love it.
Yep.
I would love
I could
it.
see you doing
The
that.
chemistry nerd in me, I get so excited. Like I love when I can look at things and I can be like, oh, that's a such and such varnish, or that's a this, or
Way
like-
too much pressure.
That's what I'm saying. That type of pressure.
I would
Where
love it.
one painting you fuck up, like $1 million,
But I wouldn't.
800-year-old painting.
I wouldn't. I'd do my homework
No,
first.
no, you would. Of course,
Mistakes.
but like
Mistakes.
nonetheless, you're gonna end up having to do it probably, dozens and dozens and dozens of times a year. You might get paid a fuck ton each time, so that could pay you out for a while. But still, like let's say you have to do that quite a few times. That's each time. It's just like once you're confident with it, you're confident with it. I
Mhm,
get that,
mhm.
but there's still that chance of like one fucking up. But
I don't
also,
know.
when you're at I just feel like you'll understand the variables so much at that point where you realize if there was a fuck up, you could just, because you're already probably going
You
back
fix
repainting things, retouching things, so you could still make it perfect, and the pressure might just like
So my
make
friend
that diamond.
Clayton, who I just traveled
just
out
work
to
extra
Vegas
hard.
with, the first time he put an airbrush in my hand, we were working on like a $45,000 boat paint job together. So like, even though I had never done it before,
He knew you could fix it.
he had confidence in me, so I had confidence in myself. But he also, like Ben just said, he can fix anything. Like he's done immaculate, super expensive paint jobs on these super high-end speedboats, and the guy pulls right into the dock and scrapes the whole side open, and they have to repair the carbon fiber, and then they have to like re-gel coat it, and then he has to start from scratch, and it's got to be a mirror to the other side.
Nope.
And you can't tell where it's repaired. He's so good. He's
But
so good. So his confidence in me gave me the confidence to just jump in. But working on projects like that, I mean, as tattooers, we're working on people's flesh.
Right.
So that's
it's very
even
relatable to the way we work.
Yeah.
Nope. That's it. Hard out. Nope.
No hard out,
Nope.
huh?
Nope. No, don't want none of that pressure.
I remember my first couple years of tattooing. I don't know. I was just 10 years ago. I was a bit more awkward than I am now. Not as confident with things and stuff. And so like, I don't know. I felt like there was so much pressure each time in my apprenticeship when I was tattooing people where I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
if I fuck up, like the end. It would be the end of the world. Like the
I-
whole end of the world. I'd be fucked. But of course, I'm not an apprentice, and it's expected of me. But like at the same time, in my brain, I'm like, I can't fuck up someone's skin. Like,
I did tattoo removal for a while, which was a different system of how to remove a tattoo, and it was even that was like, nope, I'm gonna fuck this up.
oh my god! Real quick,
No, we ha-
speaking of,
Go ahead.
sorry. Well, jump off subject, but it's on subject. So you can buy tattoo laser machines on Amazon. Have you seen that?
Wow.
They're like, they got it. No, like I don't
So,
even know what I
state
think about it,
codes-
but my mom had it and she removed a whole ass tattoo that was like a fucking solid ass tattoo. I was like,
So,
holy fuck. It was like kind of scarred and shit.
In
She kinda fucked it
Michigan,
up, but I was
the,
like,
the
what?
laws are a little bit different. In Ohio, you actually have to be a doctor to operate laser removal equipment.
But she got it from
It has to be like a
She got that
legitimate
shit from
equipment.
Amazon.
goes on.
Right. I was
Alright, I
like,
see
Mom,
it.
what? Your tattoo is gone. And it's just like a white outline of what was a solid black, like barbed wire and rose thing. The rose is gone. Everything's gone. I'm like,
You're telling me
she's
can
like, I
delete
did.
the
She was
early
like, I went
90s.
over it twice. She's like,
I feel
"What?"
like
Not that I'm like egging it on. I was just like, holy shit, I need to ask people about this. Because I
feel
did
like-
not know you could buy one of those on Amazon.
I feel a basement business coming on.
Ben's over here licking his lips.
I'm
Look at him.
just kidding, authorities. I would never operate an illegal business.
There is
out of
an
This
art-
tattoo
basement.
podcast isn't based out of Ohio.
there is an art
We're
to.
national.
Well, Jordan's mom lives in Michigan, so it's fine.
Yeah.
The codes are different up there.
And I'm totally kidding.
Yeah. Ben
Um,
doesn't live here. I mean, Michigan.
I feel like people are going to start just blistering each other up. Have you ever seen like where people do like solar branding and they don't really know what they're doing?
Uh-huh.
Solar branding is so cool to watch, and I would really love to get something done one of these days. However, like I'm not going to go to just anybody. I'll probably go to Nico and only Nico, and that's
Are
it.
they doing it with like
He
a, gla-
does-
are they
did it
doing
at
it with like
Hell
a
City a
glass
few years ago.
sphere or
Yeah.
something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Sibs.
he actually enjoys showing people the worst of solar branding. And some of the stuff he showed us, like it's so the sphere dilate, like even my marbles, like sometimes if I'm looking at my glass marbles in
They'll
the sun,
take
I
the
got to be
sunlight
careful to not
and
burn
they'll-
myself with them because like
I've lit
it'll
stuff on fire
dilate
on
stuff like a
accident
laser.
With them.
That's exactly what I'm talking
on
about.
accident. I had one in my backyard while I was painting, and I had like, I don't know, I was young and I made like a little crystal setup and like a whole little thing while I was painting outside my old property. And so like it was pointed on my painting. I didn't know it. I had it like sitting on this like little fucking pedestal I had in the backyard. And it was like just like a wooden beam that came up. Sitting on top of that, and the beam came out and pointed at my painting. And it was in the corner of the painting, the big painting that I was that's at the shop in my room. Not the one with the faces, but the old one that's kind of 3D. Yeah, it was
Burn a
lighting. It
hole
was
in
lighting it on fire. Yeah, burn a hole right into the paint and everything. I had to paint over it.
Oops.
Yeah, it's
But I
like
couldn't.
a laser.
I didn't know.
Cut
It, I
right
didn't
through
know it could
things
do
with
that.
it.
I had no
Absolutely.
idea that could happen at that time. That was probably like
Oops.
11 years ago, 10, 11.
One of they sell survival mirrors that are supposed to be able to start. Like,
Is it like
prisms
a,
and,
lens?
Yeah.
Like it
Stick a
dials the
two-piece
reflection
and-
into. Mhm.
no thanks. I'll just carry a fucking lighter. But
I
yeah.
feel like that.
I thought it was so
and-
cool. I
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
it's
damn, this thing is a
rad,
weapon.
but-
But these things are gonna light people's houses on fire.
Yeah.
without them
Do you
knowing.
remember back in the day people used to hang the little crystals from the rearview mirror?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, all kinds of interior fires, all kinds of people driving on the
Oh,
road being
really?
blinded. Like,
that's hilarious.
yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb. I was like, hey, this is like great. And then it changed to CDs.
So funny. It's so
Remember
true
people hung
that they
CDs
really do
from
that.
the rearview mirror?
I never really so
Was
like
that a Columbus thing?
I do
I ain't never
occasionally
seen that,
like
but I
hang
could see how it could be.
a
Dumb.
little talisman behind, like on my rear view
Fucking
mirror,
idiots.
but I could never understand where people get like the fuzzy dice, 74 sets of Mardi Gras beads, a happy birthday princess crown, 4 baby Chuck Taylors,
And then
some
they-
feathers.
And then they don't get pulled over for obstruction of vision.
This thing's like as
Yeah.
big as a human
Right.
being
Yeah.
waving. And how does the mirror not fall down? How does the mirror not fall down? I need to know because look, I've had
industrial
like, for instance, I'll hang like, let's say a necklace with a guitar pick on it. Something little like that.
They're always
Boom,
only
mirror
hanging.
falls down.
It's
How
only
does the glue
adhesive.
fail me? How does the glue
only
fail me?
adhesive.
And my little dangly, like almost invisible nothing. How does it fail when like these other people in their like day woos?
It's because they just epoxied that shit on. They said fuck it.
Epoxy is the answer to everything.
2 pieces.
You want that shit to never move again? Cool. Epoxy.
I recently had to switch vehicles and took down my little mirror decoration things, and I was like, now what do I do with them? Never mind. So like now I've got like this weird oblong decoration that serves no purpose.
It will serve a purpose again, Ben.
I don't know what to do with it. It's
It'll
just
serve
an
a
awkward
purpose
clutter
again.
of crap now. It's weird. I don't like it.
You might end up with a better work truck when all is said and done.
Oh, I'm not
It can
stressed.
just go right
it was
back
more
there.
of like, now what do I do with this shit?
We'll find its place.
It will.
We'll find its.
It's just one of those
Hang
things
it on
like
the key rack.
yeah, the only thing you can do with it is like hang it from another mirror or dismember it. I don't know how to say it.
No, keep it together. Just hang it from a coat rack.
Just have this awkward thing hanging there for a while.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've got a little keychain float for like your keys for when you're kayaking or whatever.
Mhm.
And I never take my keys with me when I go kayaking anyway, but it's cool. And then a little double-sided picture of my kid. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
fun.
I should just hang on like a key rack or a coat rack until it's ready to go back in another work truck.
I think I don't even know. I don't even know what to do. Dead space.
Dead space.
Sorry. I was the aquarium was very bright back there. So if you look there,
oh,
When you're in the middle, the light
There you go.
adjusts to you. Look at that. Look at that auto
oh no,
exposure
I know
adjustment.
I'm changing it on my phone here.
he's
You're changing the fish tank?
fucking with
Oh,
you.
okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I was just trying to.
I thought that was the camera auto adjusting. That's funny. So I was talking to Ben about there was a free Chevelle show in Vegas last week. They did excellent. They did a really good job. There were a few little technical difficulties, but as far as the performance, they were spot on. They mixed up old stuff, new stuff, played for like 90 minutes.
I've seen
Like-
Chevelle a handful of times.
It was really
and
good.
Every time left being like, okay, that was like way better than I expected. They put on a solid. Them and Clutch are always the two shows.
I love Clutch.
Anytime they're on a bill, I'm like, I'll pay for that ticket. Like,
So one of the things I did get up by the stage, I was close enough that I had to like keep an eye that I was not accidentally in the mosh pit
don't
zone.
watch me, bro.
Yeah, don't mosh me. I'm delicate. I'm breakable. Wrists. I need those. But anyways,
I don't want to do it with my hand.
what I'm getting at is we spent a week mostly on Fremont Street. We did other stuff in Vegas, but we were mostly on Fremont. The tattoos were atrocious. Atrocious.
You should have done some on-the-spot interviews.
I'm never traveling without the 4K camera again,
Bro,
because if I would have
mustache
had
is
my
Sally.
camera, it wouldn't have been near as weird. Like I would look like a creep with my iPhone, but with that, and if I have like some badge on me, all of a sudden I'll look official and people will talk to me. So anyways, the Chevelle show brought out some really good tattoo work. Thanks, metal community. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. I was up where I was where I was up by the stage. Like there were people like totally sleeved out. Nice work. And then I'd get like back away from the crowd where it was just random people that didn't know who Chevelle was. Neck tatty, eyebrow tatty. And then I'd look back up by the stage by like the actual metal fans, and it'd be like,
Real work.
nice arrangement. Good.
Fun. I want to show you this.
Oh,
I know you're just going to get it. Shoot. This is a new red we're working on. Can you see that?
Focus.
I'm sorry, but this
Okay.
red, I was going to show you some of the new colors, but this red we named Chevelle.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. So I thought you'd like that, but that's awesome. Yeah. They performed once at a Villain Art show I went to, and there was just me in the entire crowd.
That's
Literally
just
nobody.
you.
Yeah.
That's
I was in
funny.
Chicago, but yeah,
Oh, man.
that's a cool, and Clutch awesome band.
Yeah.
So I had to chime in, you guys.
Yeah, bring it in.
Yeah.
I would pay money to be the only person in the crowd to see either of those bands. We would know each other by the time it was over. I'd be on the stage. I'd be singing songs with them.
I'd be like, you guys want to smoke some weed?
Like, we're doing this together, guys. You just want to take a break real quick? Hold on. Let's just take a 15. Let me get my lungs back. You guys are pros, man. Let me get my wind.
Let me catch up.
Let me get my wind.
But yeah, the tattoos were great.
You guys
It was the best tattoo day of the whole show.
Nice.
And then there was also a girl at the airport yesterday. We got to the airport like with plenty of time to kill. So we sat down and had a drink before our flight. And one of the servers, I really think she was covered in Brian Gecko work. She was on the other side of the restaurant, but she had beautiful, colorful, geometric stuff.
Okay.
Didn't look like Russ's. I'm pretty sure she had a Brian Gecko collection.
That's
I
what
wish
you-
I could have talked to her.
Let me holler at you.
Yeah, if I would have looked
Let me-
professional and not creepy.
Let me holler at you.
I also had pants on, so I wasn't showing off any of my tattoos. So I was
Alright.
trying
So
not to
looking like
creep her out
looking like
too
a
much.
normie.
Yeah, I was totally looking normie for sure. Very normie looking. I mean, there's always the hand tatty, but I also look like one of those weirdos. Like, why would you only get your hand tattooed?
Yes, fuck
I like
yeah.
it when I get asked that question.
Do you get asked that?
Oh,
I have been asked that
That's like
question. Yeah.
Brian. Brian's my favorite because Brian's got amazing work, and he's not like he puts on gym shorts and a t-shirt, and you really can't tell.
Still looks normie.
And like we're at Hell City, and people are like, look at
Mid-kiff?
This yeah.
Oh,
look at
yeah,
this
yeah.
blank skinned motherfucker, and he's like, bam.
Yeah, right. His shirt comes
Covered.
off.
Like
That's so
I
Brian. That's
love
so
it.
funny.
It's very Yakuza.
Mhm.
I like it.
Beatles Yakuza.
Beatles Yakuza.
I kind of want to go out to Vegas and
Beatles
just perform
Yakuza.
it and just be like a tattooed lady on Fremont Street.
I told you I was in.
You're in.
I mean, you said $15 for the year.
It just so happens that we know somebody who's got a home out there.
Hold on. So that would mean we could then.
The girl I was
per
talking to makes
se-
$200 on a slow 3 hours.
So per se, we could go and write off our plane tickets because we're now going there for business.
I mean, we could either do the plane tickets or we could load up Vandango.
Either way, we could be on the sweet government teat payment system for our trip now
Yeah.
to go to Vegas.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes.
Because now I'm
Spreading tattoo
I'm a
awareness.
performer.
What if the tattoo collecting podcast was one of the spots on Fremont? What if I just got one
I
like
would love
for
to
us and we
do
could go out
on the
anytime and just
spot.
stand there with our microphones? Like, if you want to throw us some money and take a little swag, okay. If you don't, cool. Tell us about your tattoos.
on the spot tattoo interview.
We should make this happen. Everything's portable enough. We can set up literally a tiny little tree like what I work off of.
Yeah,
Jordan
we-
works off
We
of.
definitely could.
Sit there, all of us have a mic in our hand and actually like conduct interviews. Okay, we're gonna plan this and make it happen. When are we going to Vegas, guys? Do you
Tattoo
guys
podcast.
do you guys
in
want to go out for
Vegas.
SEMA? Do you like cars?
I mean, I like.
We could do,
cars,
like,
but every time I
SEMA, then
look at cars
Halloween.
With real people that look at cars, it makes me feel dumb because I'm like, I like that silver, and you know, and they're like, this car is actually.
Like, so I really like being around people like other groups of people like that with my group of people because they'll be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But like my buddy Clayton that I keep bringing up, he's just one of the greatest teachers. So like if you have a question about something or like he enjoys sharing information, but he doesn't come off as a know-it-all. You know
Right.
how some people are pompous and like, you mean you didn't know that?
Right.
He'll
My thing
teach
is
you
it's
the
like-
thing and then elaborate so you can be the pompous guy next time. It's great.
I never dug that deep to have that in any hobby to be that specific on stuff. And when you talk to guys that are just that catalog of information, I work with a guy that's like that as well. You can say the name, make, and model of a car, right? From any fucking year from 1960 on. And he'll be like, yeah, it's got a 302, fly on the fly, floor shifter, the start buttons on the left-hand side. You do it with your foot. It's got the black interior and came in 3 different versions. It came with these tires on it. The serial numbers will be in this arrangement. And you're just like, how, is there so much space in there? And I'm like, it just makes me upset because I have to look up something I did yesterday to make sure I'm telling people the right information, you know? And he can remember what sneakers he had on when he went to junior prom in 8th grade. And I'm like, how do you just catalog information like that? How do you just have this continual flow of exact number? I can barely remember.
Spend a long time learning.
I can barely remember my phone number. People that can rattle off like half a serial number from, oh yeah, well, if it's in between this serial number and this serial number, it's got this model of engine and this. I'm just like, I've driven the same car for 4 years and I can't tell you what the engine in it is. I know it goes fast when I push the gas pedal, but like
some people,
same with gun nerds.
Some people just get into every little nitpick detail about things.
Same with gun
They've
nerds.
taken a car apart
Like,
all the way, put it back together.
They can tell you the feet per second of every round of every ammunition they've got in their box, and every pistol has a different function and sight and view and
Over my head. I'll be like, I've got a 380
I pointed at the target and pulled the trigger.
Ruger.
Like, I don't
Tiny holster.
Yeah, like, it goes bang. Yeah. It's the same. I've never understood people that can just hold that amount of knowledge. In my mind, there's only so much room up there, and like the little stuff that I can look up, I don't.
But in reality, Ben, you are so full of useless information.
Exactly.
So full of it.
I filled it all up with
You're
dumb
so
shit.
full of it.
I filled it up with dumb shit. I had
So
to
the
show
funny
my
thing
wife
is,
why the salt and pepper shaker toppers were on the wrong salt and pepper like shakers at the restaurant last
they
night.
were
She
switch
was like-
swapped.
She was like, "How did you know that?" I'm like, "Well, A, I've got too much salt and not enough pepper, and B, the holes are different sizes." It's just like, oh, I'm like, yeah, worthless shit filled.
I
with
call that wisdom.
wisdom.
Is what I call
The
that.
wisdom of non-use
I think that's
information.
I think that's wise because the more you like your food, the more you're going to want the proper amount of salt and pepper on
It's
your
all about
food.
the ratio.
So I mean, you don't want salt dumping all over your shit.
I mean, even still, okay. So like, I was an executive chef of a resort, right? And if you asked me how to make hollandaise right now, I'd be like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know. It was always like, what do we need to do right now? Okay, look that up, make it, and next. Like, I don't have a wealth of recipes. And people are like, you didn't create stuff? Like, yeah, I created shit all the time. Like, it was my job. I made food. I looked in the cooler and said, put that together and put it on a table. But like, to ask what my meatloaf recipe would be, I'd be like, I don't know.
Whatever I felt like
Get some
putting in
fucking
it that
meat and
day.
Put it in a loaf and bake it. Like, I've never been that catalog of, if you add 1 teaspoon of this and a dash of that, I don't know. Get it together.
It's funny because there are a lot of things where if you were to ask me, how do you cook this? I would have to be like, I have to show you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there are some things you can explain, but other things where like, I just have to show you how to do it.
Right.
Like, I just have to show you how much. Like,
I don't know.
just have to show you.
What's your onion taste like? You got a sweet one? You got a dull one? How many, is it a big? Is it small? I mean, cookies and art. Baking's a science. I couldn't bake a loaf of bread if you paid me $1 billion because it has to be exact. It has to be perfect. There's a lot of goddamn steps, and like meat, heat, serve is so much simpler to me. Like, I don't know. Like,
fair.
fair.
I'd like to be a saucier.
Yeah, you just want to flip shit in pans.
I just want to.
I ran an omelet station at a banquet hall for years, and it got to the point where it was like people would be mesmerized because you ran 5-6 skillets at a time out in the banquet, like the whole time running, and people would just stand there and watch. And it got awkward for a while. I'm just making eggs. Can you go sit down?
Like, you realize the pan does it, right? It's not even me. It's the pan.
So we had this guy. He was a regular. He came in.
The pan is an extension of your arm now. You are the pan.
We had this
Pan
guy.
is me.
He came in all the time, and he's like, "How high do you think you can flip one of those?" I'm like, "Man, like it's not the point, you know." And he's like, "No, like, how high do you think you can flip one of those?" Like, as high as I wanted to, bro. He's like, "Bet you can't hit the ceiling."
And you're like,
"How much cash you got?" He's like, "I bet you 20." He's like, "All right." Wow. Actually, what I did was I let this egg cook until it was a fucking Frisbee disc hard. Then I flung it up into the air and smacked the ceiling with it. I kind of caught it when it came back down. He was like, oh, see. I was like, no, you said I had to touch the ceiling. You didn't say I had to catch the fucking egg. Like, obviously didn't square, but you know, it was amazing. I made $20 and then I had to make his omelet again because I burnt the shit out of the first one and dropped it on the floor. But
And dropped it on the floor.
it was already all rubbery. I cooked it too long on purpose. So,
Make the cleanup easy on yourself.
myself, I do it. Yes, I cleaned it up. Okay.
Liar.
No, I had to clean it up. I cleaned it up right then. It was in the middle of a dining room. Like, I almost got in trouble for it. So, what I paid $20.
Anything to keep the customer happy.
Yeah, I did. I was a request.
He ordered it that way.
Have I ever touched the ceiling with an egg before? Ever? Come on, guys. Come on.
Gotta razzle dazzle them.
Customer service at its finest.
Razzle dazzle them.
I think I was 17 and a shithead. It really didn't matter. I probably would have quit the job just to flip an egg. Good times.
So what's Ben been up to this week?
Not a whole lot.
Have you been worked on lately?
No, I got tattooed by Corey a little while ago. I've got a rose.
That's right, on your belly.
On my belly hippish area. Trying to fill in some stuff around my belly to, tie it all together.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to kind of pump the brakes for the summer. Summer's outside, in the sun, in the water, in the kayaks, in the pools, and
Yakking.
I really enjoy this time of year. I work outside, I work in the sun, I backpack, I hike, I camp. All of those things are like shitty for tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
So for the
Creates a
sake
2-week period where you just can't really do those things.
No, it just creates a shitty heel because I go do those things anyway, and then my artist is like, the fuck. So instead of hearing that,
Never have I ever.
not you. I'm just
Never
saying.
have I ever
it's-
been bad ever.
It's happened. I'm just saying it's happened throughout the careers, throughout the years. So yeah, it's just easier to be like, nah, I'm gonna take the fun water times off. Just live La Vida Loca and get back at it once it starts cooling down a little bit. But it's probably going to be a little bit longer. I got a lot of tattoos there for 4 or 5 months. So
It's because you and Derb have been racing.
it's not a
I say
race.
all the
Race
time
is
it's
a
not a race.
strong word, but I'm going to rub it in his fucking face when I finish mine before.
Your what?
Just
Your
like-
bodysuit?
Yeah, we have a bodysuit.
Are you gonna do your neck?
No, see, that's not your body. That's your neck. So
It's not your body. That's
it's neck down. It's neck down. Bodysuit, not face suit. No,
But to be fair,
to be
Ben's got the sides of his head done,
So does Drew. Drew has the back of his head done.
but not the sides.
We got head tatties.
I was just trying to give
Even
cred for
even
neck
a little
head.
bit?
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
right. Yeah.
Once I know I've got hand tattoos, and it's inevitable that.
Free from the clutches of having to be a presentable human.
But at the same time, it's like I feel like at this point I can still put on a dress shirt and dress pants
Turtleneck.
and I mean, and not be super invasive, I guess. But I don't know.
Would you get your neck tattooed?
Mhm.
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah, something soft.
Nice. Cool.
Probably
Just
one
wondering.
or two colors, if not just black and geometrical extension for my back, more than likely. But again, I want to be financially secure and not living paycheck to paycheck before.
Right.
I mean,
not worrying about the whole thing
I'm
of
not saying I'm
as soon as
broke, I
people
didn't
walk
mean
up
that
to you,
way.
they see your throat and then look at your face.
I don't even mind that as much because again, I've got hand tattoos, but it's one of those. I don't know what I'm still not secure enough in my career to where I'm like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I love my job. I like what I do. Don't get me wrong, but I've never had that security of a paycheck longevity to where I was comfortable not having those options. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most places are pretty forgiving until you start creeping up on your face, until you start creeping up above the neckline. But I don't know. I'm not saying I'm afraid to. It's kind of the last piece of the puzzle for me, if you will.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's cool. No, I mean, you could be 60 years old and decide you want to do it.
And
I feel like pain wise, you're probably You'll be at 60.
Fuck
Hopefully,
it.
you don't.
I'm
have to
giving
do
you
it
the
anymore.
rubberiest, nastiest, lidocaine packed fucking skin there is. And you can deal with it.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
but patient wise, I just feel like the only race is the one you create.
Yeah, I agree.
But that could make it fun.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want.
I think I've got a lot of tattoos and I don't have anything to prove in my collection anymore. So like the next kind of one of those like meh. If I want to, I will.
Yeah.
If I still have to find a job in 5 years, I might not want that.
Mm-hmm. I don't have mine as done. I go back and forth about whether I want it done or not. I'm definitely not going to do my throat.
If
I'm
Not
I
this area open.
definitely going to do mine. It will be done, but I'm not looking forward to it.
if I was more
pain-wise.
financially, you know what I mean, like set up, knew my career was my career, and knew that I wouldn't have to worry about it, blast all day. But I don't have that longevity anymore. And I'm a change jobs every 3-5 years guy anyway, because
ADD.
no, it's I can do it better than you and you're annoying me, and then I quit. Nobody listens.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
No, and also ADD as fuck. It was one of those like I never as a kid was like, oh, I want to be a cop. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a banker. I never had that like career-driven mindset. I fell into food because I could walk to the restaurant from my house. And they hired people at 14. So it was like, I need a paycheck. We'll go work at the restaurant. So then it was like, that's my most applicable skill because I've got training in it and I've worked in it. So I got my next job was in it. So like I just kind of was like, okay, I guess I'll work in restaurants. And then did that for years and years and years. And was like, this is bullshit.
That's how retail was for me. Like I climbed at every position that I had. I climbed within each company. But it was like, well, I mean, my resume is already this good. I might as well add another check to it.
Right.
Oh, my
Right.
resume's that much better now. I might as well add this check to it.
And it was one of those like, if I knew that I could make $2 an hour more by going to a restaurant and saying, no, I've been a cook at a banquet hall since I was 14. I worked under a chef. You guys want me to make burritos? Sure. Like, yeah, it made the price point of what I could get hired at young a lot higher.
Mhm.
I mean, and I was assistant kitchen manager of a chain restaurant at 17. Like it just made sense to me. But then once you realize that it was all bullshit and there's no real money and it's all long hours, and like I said, I lived in that world for a long time, and it just got to the point where I was like, nah,
On to something
I'm
else.
gonna go figure something else out. And then, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. That's not my thing. So I'm still in search for my thing. I like what I do, but it's a means to an end, not a passion project, if you will.
You'll find it.
I've never been in a hurry.
I mean-
like I said, it's a means to an end. I get my
Ben's not really like lacking passion in his life, though. He's got a lot of
I got
really
a lot
rad
of
hobbies.
kicks, man.
And
Like I live life
Right.
through money, not for it.
that's a good way to put it, Ben. I kind of like that.
I've never had my pride wrapped up in how I acquired my paycheck, because what I do in my free time is what defines me. So like I still will find time even at a job. Like I'm going on a 5-day hike next week. I'll still find ways to go to Phoenix and work Hell City for a week and stay in Columbus and take a week off to do, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those, you got to work. No one said you had to love it. You just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. I've had some of the weirdest jobs ever. Just because somebody was like, I'll pay you to do that. I'm like, cool, I'll show up. We'll hang out until it doesn't work anymore.
It's like when you see somebody that's got like a miserable factory job, but they make good money, and then
Like,
outside of work,
fuck
they
it.
like live the life of their dreams.
Right.
They've got guitars, cars, whatever their hobby, their passion is, they have that and they
Right.
do it. So your passion isn't necessarily always what makes you money.
No, it's not. And then I'm super, super, super jealous of people that can monetize with something that they have that dedicated of an interest to. But like I even said before, like all of my hobbies, I toe dip in. I mean, I've played guitar since I was 6, and I could probably still only play like 5 songs. and they're like half.
He's not
of
giving
them.
himself enough credit.
I can fiddle, but I'm not a guitar player. Like I'm not. Like if you put me in a band, I'd be like,
You're better than you think you are.
No, still, you get my point. Like everything I do, I toe dip in, except for getting tattoos because that's just showing up. You just gotta be there and kind of accept what's gonna happen to you. So I don't know. Like I've never had that. Like this is something I can monetize. This is a passion that I can turn into money. That wasn't work versus reward applicable. Like I've ran my own catering company. I've done shit like that. Like I know how to I can make money, but then you're like, this sucks. Tired all the time. I gotta make scrambled eggs for the 400th time today.
I don't want to make more
I don't
scrambies.
want to make
No
more
more scrambies.
You don't get no more scrambies.
No more scrambies.
So I don't know. It'll happen one of these days. We'll figure it out. I'll find something that balance is there. And I mean, at my job now, that balance is kind of there. But I mean, it's all about, like I said, living your time your way and make money when you got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I could dive into something that pulled my trigger that hard, that pulled my focus. I don't know how you guys sit down and look at a piece of art and go, all right, you know how we're going to make it better? Because I look at stick figures and I'm like, that's pretty fucking sweet. Like all those lines are straight. That head circle is connected at the top. Like so it blows my mind on the level of things.
I've never heard such a thorough critique of an imaginary stick figure in my life.
I'm pretty good at imagining stuff. I have a 3-year-old. So it's one of those like, I'm jealous of anybody. If you're a barber and you're on your game and you do what you do every day and you enjoy that social interaction and you get to do a quality product and cut hair the way that you want to cut hair and show people's showcase a talent that you have. If you paint cars, if you anything like that, if you build a wicked fucking wood fence and it's straight and on point and you do it right and that's what you like doing, getting up and doing every day. I love people that get off on what they do. Because I've never had that, I think I'm going to change oil for a living. Like I've never had that
yet.
Right.
Yet.
I don't know, I'm pretty old. I've explored a lot of options. I at this point feel that my passion will never be how I make money. Like I'm okay with that. I just got to find something that's going to pay me money. I mean, I make money at what I'm doing now. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But like, how do you monetize backpacking? You guys want to start doing like group packs and I'll charge you money to hang out with me?
Tour guides.
Yeah, but then you got to deal with normies, and I would just leave them in the fucking woods, like. Meh.
Well, you could monetize like big hikes with like multiple people that you're taking people on in super cool unexplored areas that would be really hard to get to because only you know how to get there.
And the way to do that is to quit your job and live in the woods for 9 years until you're applicable to have people follow you, and then you have. I mean, you got to have like a stockpile of cash to be a vagabond, and that's
Ben
what
would
it
lose
takes.
his patience though. When you've got a big group, when you've got a small group, there's always a slow person.
Man,
when you've got a big group, there always ends up being special needs along the way.
And you're babysitting all these people.
There's actually a huge manufacturing theory that is based off of how people would hike, right? So like it's called lean production and how a line of business flows, and you can only work as fast as your slowest person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your pinch point is always your slowest. Like in a factory, your pinch point is always the thing that takes the longest amount of time, right? So it's the same thing in like when you're hiking in a line. If you've got 5 people in a line and the person in the front is flying, no matter what, you still have to stop and wait for that last person to catch up. Mm-hmm. If the person in the middle has to stop and tie their shoe 500 times, you're still having to do that zigzag back and forth, catch up, wait, So like the only way to make that work is to put the slowest person in the front and everybody hike at the pace of the person that's the slowest.
So here's where I realized that I'm not the easiest person to hike with.
Yeah, no, it sounds super annoying.
When
I hike fast.
When
I
like
couldn't do it.
my sister and I are together, and mind you, we grew where we grew up in Michigan. Our house like set on like a plateau, and it was just these heavily wooded drop-offs and ravines all the way around it. And there were like areas where like the only way you could get across this ravine was to go like several hundred yards up and around, or you could just cross over this tree and then climb up this thing. But you had to be careful because you could only grip here, here, and here, or you'd end up in the ravine and you'd have to climb back out anyways. So not that it was dangerous, but like it wasn't
Yeah.
the easiest, but
Yeah.
like, for instance, we're very sure-footed, my sisters and I. And like, I even dare to say my nieces and nephews definitely inherited it. They're
Yeah.
like monkey-toed, earth-grabbing
Love it.
children of the corn.
Yeah. Same. My parents
But
would just drop us off on property.
when I
See you in
hike-
3 days.
when if Sarah and I, or like me, Sarah and Allie, we went hiking one time together, and one day we did 16 miles. We got a hotel, we stayed up there. The next day we did 20 miles.
Yeah.
And that's just us like playing. But at our playing pace,
Right.
we're moving pretty quick, and we're specifically chasing like creeks and waterfalls and things like that. And that kind of terrain is not your average
Right.
everyday stroll in the woods. For us, it is, because like we grew up playing in the woods. We didn't call it hiking. We didn't call it, we called
Right.
it playing in the
Right.
woods. So
Going outside.
but while I'm playing in the woods, when we put that kind of miles on throughout a day, and like at the end of the day, like we're tired, but we're not like worn out.
The next
I go
backpacking
go
trip
out
I
with
have-
people sometimes, and we'll be 3 miles in, and they're like pouting and whining, and I'm like, I was just starting to have a good
and my
time.
legs hurt.
Like,
we got warmed up.
or when you hear how much further, and you haven't even made it to the first site to see out of several, it's like, oh, it's going to be that day.
Every time I plan a backpacking trip, people are like, "Oh, I want to go with you." I'm like, "Cool, all right." The first day is 3,000 gain of elevation and 11 miles, and they're like, "What?"
The only time you and I have hiked together, actually, really, is Camelback when Derek
Other than
almost killed us.
strolling around parks. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't. We
Um,
need to make that happen.
I'm just
The
realizing
trip
that
on
I have not been hiking with you either.
let's go. I'm down anytime.
Gotta get a good
hikes
hiking.
hikes are a day activity. I go the majority of the time. I'm going backpacking.
I'll backpack in with you.
I got 20 pounds of gear on my back, and we're going out for a couple of days. So the next trip that I have planned is not this weekend, but next. It's 36 and a half miles, 7,700 feet of elevation change.
For 2 days?
Oh no, this is going to be 4.
4?
It's 10 miles a day of over 1,000 feet. It's a monstrous hike.
Okay.
Like
It's not Ohio?
It's Southern Ohio, Shawnee
Okay.
State Park.
Okay.
Shawnee is rated like as an expert trail. Most
Yeah, I
people
haven't
that
done Shawnee
go
yet.
do one section of it in like a couple days. You're supposed to say at every campsite. We're doing every other. So we're already
Doubling it.
it's going to be an accelerated pace. Like the guy that goes with me, Craig's, he knows what he's in for. We've done bits and pieces of it at different times. This is the first time we've ever chunked the whole thing at once.
Are you taking Miska with you?
No, that's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of extra gear. That's a lot of extra food. That's
True. Miska's his dog, by the way.
Yeah. When you are doing that many miles, you need to be fast, lean, and light. Like you can't carry a lot of extras. We're not taking chairs. We're not, you know what I mean? Like it's not camping. When you go camping, you take your cooler and you take your pop-out chair and you take, you know what I mean? Like backpacking is what can I do without, because I have to carry this for 4 days. So, I mean, my setup's pretty luxurious, don't get me wrong, but there's not like the frills that most people take when they go.
Yeah, you're pretty minimalist. Like you've got a lot of high-end, very lightweight things, but
I'm
you're
pretty dialed
very
in.
minimalist.
I'm pretty dialed in. I hammock camp, so like my setup's pretty simple, and my base weight's under 10 pounds. I'm actually considered ultralight. It took me a long time to get there, don't get me wrong, but it's really like the more time you spend in the woods, the more you realize you don't need a fucking can of bug spray. You know what I mean? Like you don't need the ultra heavy 6D mag light to take with you. You don't need. So I mean, like when I first started backpacking, I mean, I bet my kit was 42 pounds, and humping that 20 miles as compared to just freely walking is a completely different ballgame. Even carrying 25, 30 pounds, which is an average.
Clothing wise, what do you do? Just pack extra undies?
I generally will take, it depends on the size of the hike. With this particular hike, I got to take,
is that too personal of a
no,
question?
I'll take an extra pair of socks, a pair of underwear for every other day. And then,
You fliminifithin reverse it?
No, well, the trick is take them off when you get to camp. so you're not hanging out in shitty sweaty undies all night, and then you wear them for one more day. I know that's gross, and most people are like, ew, but like, fuck off. And then, you know, one set of clean shirt, because after you sweat through one for 2 days, it's pretty much crunchy.
So like in reality, in the woods, nobody cares if you smell homeless, right? Is that my
And
understanding?
I'm a fairly meticulously clean hiker in comparison to people I have met on long trails.
I feel like I smell homeless after one day of hiking. I can't wait to get in that shower.
Just sweating. Like, it's cool. You're carrying gear.
Yeah, if I was with other people who were also camping and also smell like if we all smell homeless together, it's okay, right?
Exactly. It's called trail smell. It's a thing. Like, nobody gives a shit.
It's like dirt and onion combined
and
with belly button.
Stop carrying deodorant because they've got to like, people are like, you brought a toothbrush? I'm like, fuck yes, I brought a toothbrush. Like, so I don't know. It's a weird little community when the object is to take less and do more. And I'm also weird because I'm going to take 3 pounds of equipment to ingest marijuana with me. So it's
Priorities. That's why you had to go ultra light.
Absolutely, because I want to take good food and So it's a blast. I love doing it.
He's like, I still carry 40 pounds with me. It's just all weed and munchies.
Summer sausage logs. No, it's a blast. It's one of my stress relievers. It's one of my clear my head, get in touch with who I think I am.
So it might be better to leave it
Mountain
nice
man
and pure
Ben.
without the monetizing it.
Well, that's the other thing too. As soon as you start monetizing something that you love, you kill the privilege of doing it.
It's easy for it to be.
Do you know what I mean?
It's easy for it to go down that path.
Right.
As tattooers, we've got to be careful to not burn ourselves out. You know how many talented tattooers show up to work grumpy?
Absolutely.
It's because you're burnt out. Like, you love this thing so much that you got so good and in demand that now you resent it.
You just gotta find your balance.
That's how cooking
your
goes.
place in it. Otherwise, you get burnt out and you get sick of doing the thing you love.
Right. And that's
why one of the reasons that we talk
system.
about balance so much. Like, within the tattoo community, we talk about balancing our lives with hobbies, with passions, you know.
Well, and your hobbies and passions balance your skill. So your painting and your, do you know what I mean? Like, are also helping hone your skill. So I don't know.
But you know, I have definitely had several months throughout my life, like several large periods of time, where I was that just grouch every day.
Right.
I was I mean, and I love what I do. Like, once I sit down and start tattooing, it's always a good day. It's never a bad day when I'm tattooing, but like leading up to it, sometimes it's so overwhelming, you know, all the pull. And, you know, I have somebody that I pay to help me manage that stress. And it's so,
there's a big weight attached to it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you know, it is something that we
easy
love.
to get burnt out. It's easy
we
to just let the stress take
That's
over.
anything you have
And
to
if you
do
get
every day.
Postpone things and let things get ahead of yourself, then it just gets even more overwhelming and stressful.
Yeah. Anything that you have to do every day, it can turn into a
Yep. As much as we love it, we got to give ourselves a break from it. We got to be able to like
balance. You got to still live life, like you were saying, like like Ben was saying. Still got to like maintain a life outside of that. Even if you love what you do, you still got to like have a life outside of what your money making situation is. It can't just be that, or it's going to end up being.
If your passion is your money and your relax is your money,
you got to find where your inspiration's coming from.
Now, what do I do to relax? Because now I'm hiking all the time, and now I hate hiking because now I've got people with me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you'd be grumbling. You'd be like, "Oh man, who's it gonna be this trip? Who's gonna be the one?
Well,
I hope nobody breaks an ankle."
Right. And it's. I don't know. I don't want to ruin the few things that I have that I enjoy. I don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've never had that drive to become something other than hanging out. I don't know. It's a hard ball of wax for me to roll.
I don't know. You never know what what's going to fall into your lap. You know, you
Oh,
never know what.
I am the king
the
of
next
falling ass
year-
backwards into shit.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, like, do you know why I work for Hell City? Like, do you know why I know of the people that I know? Like,
Just jujitsu, right? Is that how you fell into the circle?
kinda tattooy, kinda jujitsu-y, kinda Fight Club on Friday night, beating each other up in a warehouse style stuff. But like all of my jobs since have been, hey, my buddy's doing this, you should go talk to him. My guy's looking for somebody to do this, you should get, like, it's not because I have a certain skill set, it's because I happen to know someone that needs someone to fill in at whatever is going on. You know, I became a roofer because I was in my buddy's living room and he's like, you do what? I'm like, it's a little patch job, man. Like, I'm in between, like, it's paying the bills. Like, don't worry. He's like, come work for me. Okay, like, and that's how all my jobs have been. I was a maintenance tech at a t-shirt shop. What? Like, I went to a specialized tech school to learn how to print t-shirts out of a machine. Untransferable skill. You know, like, fell ass backwards into that because my buddy's like, yeah, you know, we run a t-shirt shop, right? Do you want to come work? Do you want to come work on the machines? Sure. So,
Just sounds like as good a hustle as any.
I guess. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if I wasn't a tattooer, I would probably definitely still be doing something in retail. I don't know where I would be or what company I would be with, but
Out of the jabillion jobs I've had, I've never worked like at a store.
never. Really?
Never.
With your love for high-end fabrics. I don't
Back
want to
off my
say
high-end
high-end
fabric.
fashion, but
As I'm in a t-shirt and Adidas shorts.
but look at how delightfully aged that t-shirt is. There's a reason you wear it all the time. He's very tactile. He'll start talking about like the thread count of his dress shirts and his ties, and
Okay.
it's not a bad thing.
So-
I'm not knocking it.
What nobody is understanding at this point in the conversation is that
He worked for a dry cleaner.
I one of my part-time jobs for a long time, and I did it full-time for a while and did it hardcore for a while, was working at a high-end dry cleaner. I drove a delivery route to start, and then it bled into a bunch of other stuff. But what it did was put you in a position to talk to people that that wear that kind of stuff. And we dealt with a lot of retailers, and we dealt with a lot of like stores that sold stuff, and the lady would bring it back with makeup on it. So like I could walk into the back of Louis Vuitton, Saks Fifth Avenue, Burberry, and I'd walk in and hey man, like, so it was kind of cool to be able to walk into places where people were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars by the second and just walk by the counter and and do my thing. That was a really cool job, but what it did was make me a clothing snob really fast. Like, I don't wear a lot of dress clothes, but when I do, I don't skimp on it.
He don't mess around.
Yeah, it's one of the few things I actually enjoy. Like, one thing I miss is not having fancy nights, guys. Like, we need to, like, every other month plan a night to put on clothes.
I like the idea of a fancy night.
And we don't even have to go out. Like,
I'll
come
put
to the
on
house.
I'll put on a sharp blazer.
Yeah, like, I don't give a
I'll swap the
shit.
hoodie out for a blazer.
Let's just be fancy and then go do ordinary people shit. Like, let's go to Walmart and tuxes. Like, I don't
Let's
know.
go look bougie at Taco Bell.
Let's figure something out. Like, I enjoy being presentable. I like it a lot. And then I spend all day in t-shirts and polos because that's the job I'm in.
It's
But,
comfortable.
yeah,
I can definitely agree.
But yeah, so working at the dry cleaner really made my my high-end clothes taste specific.
Uppity.
Just specific.
Just a little uppity.
Just specific. Yes.
It's funny. Ben's a very tactile. Even like his hiking pants, I'll like look at him and be like, those look comfortable. He'll be like, watch this, and he'll like do a high kick in them.
By the way, did you know that this particular strand of polyester and cotton blend makes it to wear
More useless information.
more useless information? That's why I love
But to someone who wants to hike or do all that and be comfy, that is beautiful information. That's like the
Yeah.
information you learn because like you've been there, you've done it, and you did the high kick.
Right. But on the same note, like all that is, pull up any clothing other than fashion and look at the descriptions in it and look at the people that are like, I don't know, like I feel like that stuff's like it's a saturated market of people that are reviewing products and like, I don't know.
What if that's your calling, Ben?
To review products.
Yeah.
Set up the basement.
So, but then everybody's like, "Hey, I want a sponsorship to have the privilege of telling you that your gear is acceptable for me."
Nope.
Exactly, and that's how people get into that, and it's like to build the base of you have to start a YouTube channel. Then your YouTube channel has to have so many followers. YouTube.
On the YouTube.
And it's like, I'm not that entertaining. I don't want. I don't want to take walking in the woods and make it a pain in the ass because now I've got to film everything I do. But if there's
Wake up, Jordan. Wake up.
J-Doggy needs some more coffee.
You know, I was actually
Need
just
another
thinking, what are the odds that we could get a pot of coffee going?
Would you like coffee?
That would be awesome.
Would you like some coffee?
Hey, no.
I don't know if you know, but
Actually, no, I'm out.
we have the
Are you really out?
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't. Starbucks delivers.
Right. I'll grind it up. do it again.
2 times.
I gotta do it 2 times.
All right. I'll suffer. I've got a Red Bull out in the van. I guess if I get desperate, I could
I've got
run
one in
out
the
and grab
fridge.
one.
I'm still working on leftover TJ coffee.
No coffee.
No coffee.
No.
We did the coffee today.
So we do so coffee or no coffee?
If you
At
have
this point,
coffee, that
I'm
would be
confused
awesome.
of whether or not you have coffee and
I
or
have
the
coffee.
ability to
Yeah,
make it.
I wasn't sure either.
No, it
but
was
if
not
you
clear,
have
but I
coffee,
yeah.
coffee would be excellent. I'm still jet lagged, remember? My dog was so happy to see me. There was
I
no
bet.
sleeping for quite a while.
I bet.
And
Well,
then also,
you were gone, home, gone. So
yeah, my cat, neither one of them let me sleep. Neither one.
you're home. I'm gonna sit on your face.
So
Yeah,
producer,
basically, that's how it
producer
went.
number 1 here. He is very sick right now.
He looks a
Aw.
little.
He's very sick. He cannot breathe out of his nose. He had a hairball that could not pass, we suspect, and he has a vet appointment tomorrow.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
hope he's
know.
okay, man.
I know. Me too. Poor little guy. I've been feeling so bad.
That's never,
So bad.
That's never fun.
I have cameras at my house, so it's really nice. I use the Wise cams. They're fantastic. They're like $40 for the good one, $19 for the static one. Anyways,
I have one of
they're
my kids' room.
fantastic. I love them. I can check my kitties. I can even see my fish from my camera. I can zoom right in on it and make sure little blue guy's still swimming around. I can periodically like see who's sitting in the windowsill, do a head count. Like I make it sound like I have like 53 cats. I have 2.
Well, I mean,
A head count though. I got
Head
like
count.
2 sets of ears.
Did,
And usually that's all it is. I'll see just their ears from behind my couch. I'll just see the little tips of them.
there they be.
But the cameras, man, are such a peace of mind. Like not only like I had somebody house sitting for me, which turned out great. But it's still nice to just like look and be like, oh yeah, my dog's not even missing me right now. She looks happy.
She's having a good time.
She's
We
got
put
her
one in my
baby in her
kids'
mouth.
room. I mean, like, not to be weird about it, but sometimes
It's like an
they're-
intercom.
They're dreaming and kicking the wall, and sometimes they're pissed off and kicking the wall. And it's so much easier to determine before I fling the door open screaming if they're dreaming or, awake being a jerk. So it's like,
My sister got me hip to them. She actually bought mine for me for Christmas last year or the year before. But she has them all over her house and uses them like as an intercom system because you can like
Yeah.
I would say she yells at her kids through them, tells them
Yeah, we-
to stop doing things,
we do the same.
put that down, quit writing on the wall, get that is your sister's.
You
Go-
know better.
all of the like when you as a parent you like start stuttering because the
Uh-huh.
words can't come out
My-
right
my-
as the rage
My
fills.
favorite and still is my reigning champ is you know better. Like, you know better. Like, stop. But yeah, that doesn't get you very far. My kid's just at the age where she feels that even though she can clearly communicate to you that she doesn't understand why she's being told what she's being told, And she's like, but I know better. And normally this is how it goes. So the fuck. And it's I don't want to say challenging because my kid's fucking sweet, but like it's hard to change rationalization of people that have this concrete idea of how things work. They don't understand situations change. They don't understand that sometimes you're at a restaurant and you can get chocolate milk, and sometimes you're at a restaurant and you can't. So it's one of those like, but it's supposed to be this way, and it's always been this way. Why is it different? And I don't understand why it's different. And I've expressed clearly what I want, and it's just feel like disappointment after disappointment. That's all.
Not a disappointment. Just like
It's more of continually rationalizing something to somebody that thought they had a concrete idea. It's like talking to anybody that's super religious.
So one of the cool things that UNM do with your daughter is you treat her like a person. So like anything
easy.
you guys do, she does with you. So by having her in situations where things might be slightly out of the ordinary, but it's okay. Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
just teaching
the
those
difficult
things.
sometimes is explaining the difference of why this time it's not okay. Normally you let me play on the phone. It's like, normally you haven't been on the phone all day, or normally, that's not an entertainment system we use a lot. So if she's already had the phone on in the car, it's like, no, we don't want you to sit there becoming a zombie during dinner as well. Like interact with us. So it's one of those, like, she's so determined and set in what she thinks is correct that now I'm like backing out of shit I said. Like wait.
Hold on. You argue a good case. Let me think on this.
You are not wrong. You're right. Like normally you're right. I don't care. But today, this is why it's different.
Sometimes that this is why it's different is all a kid needs.
Yeah.
Like sometimes simply we're at somebody else's house, so the rules are a little different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like sometimes something simple like that. And
Dad,
there are subtleties
you
of
let me
manners.
play basketball inside. Why can't I do it here?
Right. Yep. There are like subtleties of manners too, where Lily's just at the right age. Like for instance, the difference between offering something or being offered something or asking for it.
Yep.
Like there's a time and a place.
Yeah, we're very manners based, and explaining to her that farts are hilarious at home has become my hardest challenge. She'll come back and be like, Dad, I farted. It was hilarious. I'm like, that is great. We are at $100 a plate restaurant. Can you not? Not. And again, we're very manners based, so it's like she'll ask somebody, and people are like, oh wow, that was nice. I'm like, babe, you didn't do it right. Like, start over. And she's like, I'm sorry. May I please have a chocolate milk? I'm like, thank you. That is how you're supposed to ask somebody. So I don't know. It's weird.
I think I'm going to kind of derail just a little bit, but on the subject of manners, I always think that like as a heavily tattooed person who I feel like it's one of my missions to change like the view of tattooed people. Yeah. Like the stigma is slowly disappearing, but the way we make it disappear even faster is being extra polite, going out of our way, being extra kind.
Always.
So I was standing... I think it was when Nicole and I both locked our keys in the room and we were waiting in line to get new keys. I look over and I'm just like people watching, and there's this guy and he's heavily tattooed, but he's got his son in front of him and he's just like being such a douchebag to his kid. Like, I'm not saying he was abusing him or hitting him or hurting him, but like he was just being like, it was his son. He had to have been like 7 or 8, maybe like second or third grade-ish, and he was just rude. Yeah, he was just very rude, and I just wanted to be like, thanks pal. Thanks.
Way to raise the bar,
because
bro.
of you're the stereotype.
And you are teaching your child that is acceptable behavior
in public
and how to get what you want. So when your method of receiving what you want is to throw a fucking fit and be like, do it because I said so. And I get that way. I'm not saying I don't get that way. But when you teach that that's your first response, and you're teaching your kid that raising your voice, screaming and yelling and making someone else feel belittled is how you get what you want, you're fucking doing it wrong, man.
Yeah, I always get so disappointed when I see somebody that's like covered in tattoos that's acting like the horrible stereotype. It's like, come on, man. Come on. In this day and age, like, you want to be treated normal and look like a freak. Well, you're not. Yeah, like act extra cool. Like, if you want to look like a freak and draw attention to yourself, be cool, man. Like, you make all of us look bad.
Please and thank yous go a long goddamn way. And not even that. Now, heaven forbid you're treating your kid politely and you're keeping it as a calm, rational discussion. And
oh no, his daughter was totally crying. Like, she was so upset. She was crying in line. Like, that's not cool. She was even littler than the son. He was being a jerk too. It's like, you've clearly pushed it too far now that other people are noticing what you've done. And
you've taught your kid that it is okay to act that way in a
public
setting.
The embarrassment. I think that's why his daughter was upset. I think she was just embarrassed because I was the kind of kid, like, you didn't have to scold me in public. I was the kind of kid, like, you tell me not to do something, it's like, okay, like, you know, my parents.
There was zero wiggle room.
I feel like there were times where it would be like, I'll tell you why later, but listen now. You know, where.
Wait till we get home.
I just can't imagine being embarrassed by my parent like that, or even just. I grew up as like. My mom felt it was very important to treat us as people like you guys do with Lily. But it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, you know, where like, as I'm like keeping an eye on tattoos and stuff throughout the crowds all weekend, and everybody's being real cool and everybody's always talks to each other about their tattoos as they pass by each other. I probably heard nice ink or nice hair 5,000 times over the past week, which is great. And I love it because it always opens a cool interaction and it's always polite and it's always friendly. But when I see that one guy that's just covered in tattoos head to toe and he's just acting like that, it's just belligerent stereotype.
Like any group of people, though, there's exceptions to the rule.
Like that Kid Rock looking dude in Cleveland, not Cleveland, Cincinnati. Do you remember him?
I do.
It was that same kind of.
Sorry.
It was that same kind of just douchey parent energy. And I was like, man, I bet you're rude to everybody. Like, if you're rude to your kids like that. You're probably rude to everybody like that.
You're teaching that is a normal, social, acceptable behavior to treat not only people you love, but strangers like that. We were harsher to people that we were close to because
the expectations higher.
Right.
We know the manners. We know how to
yes, sir, no, sir, please, and thank you. Anybody else that's not in your family. So it was, you know, like, I don't know. It's weird for me to see that. I hate to say it. Not everybody was raised the way I was raised, you know, but what's wrong with being nice to people? I don't get it.
I don't know. Manners are the social lubricant, man, tattooed or not. But if you're tattooed, you kind of got to be extra with the manners because that's the only way the stigmas and stereotypes disappear is like, don't be a douchebag. Don't do it. Don't do it to us. Like, if you're tattooed, you're my people, but like, don't bring us all down. You know what I mean? Like, if you're passionate enough to collect a bodysuit from head to toe and be heavily tattooed, we've shared experiences. You know what I mean? So don't bring our whole tribe down by being rude. Like, and I get it. Sometimes people have a chip on their shoulder. Traveling is exhausting. Traveling with kids is exhausting.
Well, and it's also hard to catch a snippet of maybe that he was having a particular breakdown at that moment. Maybe that's not their normal behavior. I'm not trying to be all judgy, but we all know that people live like that.
Yep.
We all know people live in that realm and bubble of
It's actually more rare for people to have.
Because I said I'm right, and I'm going to be loud until I prove that I'm right.
I feel like it's more rare for people these days to have like a long string of happiness, you know what I mean, than to be like more like something depressing them from the world or whatever's going on in people's lives is hard, you know. Life's fucking hard lately. And so I feel like it's you know, you can almost expect that from most people. So when you get manners, it's, you know, it's beautiful to see.
It's a lot.
So
like
be that.
It's a lot like that in jiu-jitsu, because 9 times out of 10, it's a group of guys that are there to have a good time and not break each other and slap hands and have fun. And then you get that I am here to submit everyone in the room, something to prove. You will bow to me. I am better at this than you. And it's just kind of like, man, we were having fun, just having a good time.
We were just giving each other bro hugs on the mat. Now you came along and made it serious.
And now what? I gotta work hard, and now I got something like this is practice.
Right.
It's practice.
Next thing you know, your nose is bleeding, you got a fat lip, and your shoulder's totally dislocated.
Because you
This
had
guy's
something
done.
to
And just
prove.
like, yeah. And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's that mentality everywhere. The I'm better because I said so. I'm entitled. I have this certain perception. Most people's self-worth is overvalued. Like, you're not that special. You want $1 billion. There's 1 million of us here. Like, fuck off.
I always like just looking at somebody when being like,
yeah, you got blood inside.
Looks the same.
You bleed, right? You bleed. So okay. So you're not more important than me. Oh, fuck off. I'm real fast to tell people fuck off. I don't know if you notice that. It's just kind of the way I am.
It's okay.
It's
okay.
It's made my
People
life a lot
people
easier.
just need to hear it. And we have to be assertive. We have to can't throw ourselves under the bus.
Yeah. People are dumb.
Manners matter.
Manners matter. And I feel like we've gone into like a manners dive 2 weeks or 3 weeks in a row now. Like,
well, it just came up because, you know, we were talking about like how to raise your kids, and it made me think of this douchebag parent. Like, as I'm standing there and I'm just like arms crossed, like I wasn't tapping my foot, but I might as well have been, like, just dead staring at him. Like, and I'm sure I was even shaking my head too.
yeah, and
he
was probably getting off on the fact that people were noticing him. And that's really what it is. He's like, I'm doing this in a crowded room for attention. He's got no reason in the lobby full of people other than wanting to be noticed to go off like that. It's same with anybody that's carrying on at a bar and being loud and obnoxious. That brought the crew of people that are being loud and obnoxious, and their significant other feels they're entitled and loud and obnoxious. It's like, you're not any different. You can be treated like everyone else, and no, you don't get to cut to the front of the line because you're loud.
Right.
It doesn't work.
Squeaky
that
wheel.
way.
No.
It doesn't work that way. We see you. I see you.
Wait to you when it's your turn.
Wait.
It's amazing how many problems can be solved by simply just wait a moment. Food that's too hot, wait a moment. Line too long, wait a moment.
So you guys have heard the theory of traffic jams, right? Okay, so if everyone actually followed the car length per mile per hour recommendations of 1 car length per 10 miles an hour in between you and the vehicle in front of you, right?
Traffic jams wouldn't happen.
So if you got on the freeway and there was, and you wouldn't even have to go 60 and 70 miles an hour because there would be no reason to. Your rate of travel would be higher because it would be consistent. So there's literally 5 car lengths at 50, say 6 car lengths. There's enough space for you to just come in and mirror that speed and go in between people and adjust accordingly. There would never be a reason to compile and slow down, right? Everybody would have the same effect through turns. Everybody would have the same.
This is one of the things that I look forward to with autonomous cars, because where we've got like Hove lanes now in some cities, those are going to be autonomous vehicle lanes. And that's how the autonomous vehicles are going to work. But they're going to be able to travel like 100, 120, maybe faster, you know? Like you'll be able to get anywhere, and these vehicles are all talking to each other. So they're all going to have a safe zone of buffer around one another. If a car 3 miles up has to brake for something, every car behind it knows. So everybody can start adjusting slowly. So it never even, it'll never stop. Like it's going to make, I don't know, you know, I'm a sucker for like analog everything, but I would love to have an autonomous van. If I had an autonomous full-size van
Right.
that I could just like
Set it, forget it.
program where I'm going,
Wake up in
and
Colorado.
yeah, that'd be excellent.
Yep.
I'm waiting for
I'm all
Columbus
about
to
it.
get big enough for an actual mass transit. I mean, let's get a tram, let's get a train, let's get a. I
could see like an elevated loop being put like
On
down,
270.
like not 270, but like
Right. The old
like
20 minutes to get
nationwide high
across
street
Columbus
arena
becomes 10.
district, like
Mhm.
that loop between like the short north and the arena district, like just have it. Have you been on the People Mover in Detroit?
No.
So
I've only been
it's
to Detroit once.
we need to go. Are you going to come next year for the Detroit
Sure.
show?
Sure.
We should do the summer
Like
show
you're
too.
scared.
It's coming up.
I love it. I mean,
I'm
the one
just
time I
kidding.
was in Detroit, I had a
I'm
blast.
just
Aside from the current flooding,
I just-
Detroit's great.
Yeah.
I love Detroit. But the People Mover, it's basically this one weird like loop just right around downtown. It's not around all of Detroit, but it's one elevated loop around downtown Detroit, and it's got like 8 stops maybe, but it'll stop at like it stops at the Greektown casinos, it stops at Bricktown, it stops at the Renaissance Center, Cobo Hall, but like all the big hubs that you would want to get off at downtown. One of the stops, I think Cadillac Center, is right across from where the Hard Rock is, which is an absolutely cool building if you're up there.
Oh yeah.
It's got an inside waterfall with all these big colored glass panels hanging. It's
Oh, yeah.
really cool.
Well, that was the one thing I really liked about Chicago. It was like you felt like you could go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think we're
Right.
far off in Columbus. I wouldn't be surprised if there are talks of putting something like that in. It's big enough now.
I'm pumped.
It's gonna happen.
I say that, and then they'll get it, and I'll end up living somewhere way out in the sticks because I'm like, God damn traffic and people.
I think cool transportation systems like that. We need more of them.
I mean, Columbus used to have a really nice trolley system that ran everywhere downtown into the outskirts that got bought out
Hmm.
and demolished because, paved roads, let's make the way for the GM, and they ruined it. I like trains. I got to go to the train museum a couple weeks ago. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
One
What
of
was the train
cars-
museum like?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of old trains. You got to take a 20-minute car ride on a.
Did you wear your conductor hat?
No, I didn't.
Did you wear your overalls?
I didn't want to confuse anybody. I
Excuse me, sir. Do you work here?
Fuck no.
Just a fan.
Just a fan. No. You could tell the people that worked at the train museum. Probably like you could spot a carny type
Okay.
of situation.
All
Like,
right.
oh, you work here. It was an eclectic group of people. We'll just say that. But they had one of the original Columbus street car electric trolleys. And
Nice.
It was like fucking sweet. Like they're all are done up and nice inside, and like, man, decorating stuff used to matter. And now we don't do it, and it's stupid.
Everything's all function, form. Doesn't really matter anymore.
Right. They used to make
And
things
then we
pretty.
got to do things like, okay, so now that we've designed this thing, we got to make it shippable. Where back in the day it was, we're going to build it. It just doesn't get shipped.
Yeah.
We're just going
We
to build
here.
it.
We used it here.
Yeah, we built it.
Well, the one of the there's a couple places in Columbus that were really famous for making steel wheels.
Hmm.
There was one here and one out near Grove City. So like during railroad, like Columbus had a big part and play in how things were shipped and moved and blah blah blah. So
It's crazy how much we're being nerds. Sorry, listeners. We're talking about trains.
sorry.
It's crazy how much train history there is in Central Ohio. It was
Oh, yeah.
just like this switching hub
Mhm.
from the east to Chicago to Detroit. South, like Ohio is like the terminal of the Eastern Railway system.
Hobo Central.
So yeah. So there's like, if you're into mechanical things like that, there's really a lot of cool things to see around Central Ohio.
It was
revolving
really
around
cool.
the,
Yeah, it was
the
really cool
railroad.
just to see that old history of what Columbus used to be. They had a lot of like early photos of, like I said, those electric cars and
The
stuff
old
like
train
that.
station.
Yeah, and then it was like you could see, I don't know, that's fucking High Street, and that's, you know what I mean. Like, I love old Columbus history, no matter how you're digging it up, because I don't know. I like the older times.
Fair.
Nice. There's coffee.
There's coffee.
Coffee's
But wait, there's more.
Coffee. Do you need
Today's
coffee,
break
Ben?
is sponsored by.
This break is sponsored by what kind of coffee you got today, Jordan?
It's Starbucks, Spike's Place.
Starbucks. Send us shit.
Starbucks. Yeah, we want more Starbucks.
Send me your.
I will.
beans.
Everyone, send your money to Starbucks.
No. You got that backwards. Starbucks send us shit.
Yeah.
We just get endorsed
They
to drink their
brainwashed.
shit.
They brainwashed me.
I'm just
It's
so
the Pike's
used to
Place.
giving them my money. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not the same, man. Like, life's too short for shitty coffee.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying
Starbucks is not the grand all.
I'm saying I'm just.
But like, and when it comes to Kroger coffee,
right.
Starbucks is a good coffee.
You're pulling the thought from my head. It's
A lot
not
of
the best, but in a world of shit, it's at the top of it,
Mhm.
of the shit pile, if you will.
There we go. That's a great analogy.
Bet you bottom dollar I'm top of the shit pile.
Prettiest turd on the pile.
It's actually a Slipknot line.
Is it? Nice.
It's funny. That's funny.
I feel like I spend so much time ripping on Starbucks and their baristas and their like ordering system and their, I rip on it all the time. And I think they're damaging the way that like coffee culture is. Like it's Starbucks culture now in the United States. It's not like
Do you
real
remember we
coffee
got scolded by
culture.
the guy at Stoff's for not knowing the proper term for the style of espresso that I wanted?
I actually felt privileged that he took the time to give us that little lesson.
I would
That's
have too
what I like.
if he wouldn't have been a prick about it. If his little nose wouldn't have went in the air and went, okay, so what you're asking for doesn't exist. He'd have just been like, hey man, actually, what you're asking for is this style of coffee. Would have been way cooler in my mind.
Yeah.
But like the eye roll and huff.
I might not have
guess
caught the eye roll.
I could have done without that part.
I was
Because
just wondering
then I sat
how
there like,
while,
me more.
while that beginning part of the conversation was going on, I was wondering if he ever took his cycling outfit off.
He was wearing his full kit.
Yeah. I just
Alright,
wondered if like
nice.
that was his look. Because like when I wear stuff like that, I always have like a backpack of regular clothes with me.
Well, I mean, I've known quite a few cyclists, and I have never once seen any of them in public in their little cycling kit.
You've never seen me like that.
Never. The guy that did the majority of my tattoos went to run a cycling training center, and I did a lot of private chef work for him, and did like I knew his whole crew there for a long time. Still run into these fuckers in public to this day, and have never once seen one of them in their kit. Never. Unless they was on that bicycle pedal.
That happens with baristas though. I feel like
They
there
wear
are
their
definitely
apron out
other
in public.
places.
Fuck you.
No,
bitch.
like the baristas that are cycle nerds like that. Like I feel like that's not the first time I've seen like a
Your
barista in
coffee
there.
was too important for me to
Bike
take
shorts.
the time to change. So I just
Are you still wearing your padded shorts, sir?
Don't my butt look good?
I'd like to hear.
I just want you to know that I am more environmentally cautious than you, and I choose to pedal instead of burn gasoline.
Oh, I do it so I don't break faces. It's a really good way to get out rage if you're ever in a bad mood. I haven't had to go for that kind of a ride in a really long time though, but it works really well.
I want to get back into cycling. I was never like into cycling, but I've always had bikes, and we've had a bike path out back. I've been known to bust some miles.
It's supposed to be raining all day today, isn't it?
It's supposed to be shite, but ended up trading my mechanic, my bicycle, to do some work on my Cadillac.
It just so happens I have two bicycles. One's a 58 centimeter, the other's a 60. Either one would fit you.
Let's live La Vida Loca. Let's get it done.
My 60 has the aero bars on it.
I don't know.
So if you want to get low,
I don't know the words you're
you can
using.
get low and aerodynamic.
I am fat. I'm always aerodynamic. All my rolls are filled with squishiness, so that it just blows right off me. I'm just one giant teardrop.
My white bike's pretty nice. You rode that one, right?
Yeah.
Once you got
Yep.
used to the gear, it's got
Hurt my
mountain.
butt.
It's the
Hurt my butt. Like that was
They
the
all,
worst part
they
about
all
it
do,
all.
bro. They're trade monsters.
Like it got to a point where I was so bruised. I was like, oof.
yeah.
But it rode really good.
It takes a handful of rides before you condition your muscles to where you don't feel bruised.
That's fair. My butt. I don't got biking muscles down there. It's been a while.
It's fair. That's fair.
Well, I grew up on BMXs.
So did I, but
So,
it's still been a good 10 years since
the
I fucked
seat
with
was
it.
I was a little
option.
sore.
Right.
after that
I was
ride,
for
though.
never
coasting,
not
you know?
sitting on the seat
Right,
ever,
right.
ever.
This ride, we thought we were going. We thought we were on a loop collectively.
Oops. Hey y'all.
Oh,
we
yeah,
accidentally,
end up
we
going, like,
accidentally went
20
on a
miles.
20-mile ride. And we were just gonna like go down and like noodle around by the river.
I don't know if you've noticed, but we have not turned at all. And I'm tired.
Yeah, it was.
Know that
It
the
was
trail
funny.
system behind my house is one of the Ohio Greenway trails, and they're sneaky because next thing you know, you'll be in another town. And you'll be
Right.
like,
That was where we were headed.
oh fuck.
Yeah, we were all the way up
I'm
on
670. Like, yeah,
Too far.
the trail to my house will take you to Grandview, all the way past downtown. Like it's nuts. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, I live on the other side of town. There's a downtown between us.
How
These-
far? About
These bike
20
trails
minutes?
are, yeah.
everything is 20
If you were in a
minutes away
car,
Columbus.
maybe,
Everything's 20 minutes. in
Maybe 12
Columbus.
at night.
maybe. Who's
Hold on. Who's driving?
who's driving?
My van or the caddy? I think my van's on autopilot to your house. It just knows
Just
the way to
knows
go.
the way. That's how the bike gets.
Yeah, when I get the that's when I know to start paying attention. There's these like 3 rumble strips as it goes from interstate to like regular to
Right.
like what is it, a 4-lane
I don't
road.
know.
Goes
Sure.
from highway to road.
Yeah.
Anyways, the rumble strips is when I shut off the autopilot and start driving.
Wake up. It is nice having a little freeway that just kind of connects our houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you guys both live really near each other, and it's really just like a 10-minute jaunt.
Jaunt.
It's just a few turns off the exit.
Mhm.
It's
Nice.
kind of nice.
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 Very close.
It's like they designed a freeway just for us to hang out.
They might have.
It is. The world revolves around
I'll
us.
take it. I'll take it.
I like to think.
So what else new is going on in the tattoo community this week?
What new is going on in the tattoo community?
You do
this
anything
week?
cool this week? Any cool projects?
Well, I continued a project that I'm pretty.
Someone change this.
Oh.
Why are you looking at me? I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
tired.
Yeah, there we go.
we like looking at you, Ben.
I'm just sitting here like.
Da-da-da.
It's all right. We like Ben while I'm talking. Yeah, so I continued to sleep the other day. Yesterday, client, no call, no show. So at 3:00, he messages me and tells me that he sent me an email a month ago, or he thought he did, but it was in his drafts. But
Forgot to hit send.
but
huh?
you know, he figures that out right at 3:11 when
Hmm.
the appointment was at 3.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of seemed like, I don't know.
You mean your alarm went off on your phone saying you had a tattoo appointment today
Yeah.
that you ignored?
Quick,
shit.
come up with a story.
Right. I don't want him to sit and wait around all day. I'll just get it out there right away. Or maybe he's just holding off to the last minute because he wasn't comfortable doing it.
So it's not the
just-
end of the
just
world to
cancel early.
cancel an appointment. It's not
Hey,
at the end
I
of the
had
world
great-
to rearrange or reschedule, but like give us
Cancel early.
notice.
Don't do
Like
it at
the
3:00.
more days you can give us notice, the less it stresses us out and the more we can like make plans with our time.
And you make it awkward.
Well, and here's
Make
the
it
thing.
awkward.
Here's the thing that kind of like grinds my gears the most when somebody cancels or no shows on me like that. I could have gotten somebody else in.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to work today. I planned on working today and I've got people waiting for
There's a
my
wait
time.
list, yeah.
And now you've not only wasted my time, but you've wasted their time too. And that's where it's really, really not fair.
Mhm.
When I've got projects that I'm passionate about and people that would come in if they would have known that for instance, said Saturday was available or said Friday was available, they would have been there in a heartbeat. But I can't let somebody know day of or the day before, because like people have to get time off work. People got to make travel
Right.
arrangements.
It's
People
super
need to do
selfish.
And then
things with their kids.
you're not prepared for it. Maybe you wanted some time to sit and think about what you're about to jump into.
Yeah, it's not a big deal at all to reschedule. Like, we totally appreciate it. Any of us that are busy, we understand what it's like when an obligation comes up out of nowhere, or an emergency happens, or, you know,
Life.
yeah, or simply we didn't budget enough and we need to reschedule. But like, you know, those things are going to happen more than the day before.
Right.
Like,
And 5+ hours of
yeah,
driving.
if like, for instance, sometimes I've got clients who are like, hey, my job's being funny. I just wanted to let you know that like I might not be able to get that time off, or so and so might make me come in, or, you know, I'm going to appreciate that. Even if it's like a month before our appointment, I'm going to appreciate knowing that there is a chance I might need to have somebody on deck. Like, if you let me know, like, hey, it's 50-50, I might not be able to come, then I can call somebody else who might be available that day and say, hey, 50-50 chance I might have this day open for you. And everybody's happy. Nobody's time is wasted. So it's one of those things where, like, for me personally, if you email me and say we need to reschedule, I don't ask any questions, because I don't think it's any of my business. I just appreciate that you're letting me know. You know what I mean? And I like to tell my clients that too. Like, I'm not going to ask you why you need to reschedule. If you want to tell me, that's cool, but like, just let me know and we'll move it to another date. Just give me a few days or a week. Like, just communicate and let me know. I don't need any specifics. Sometimes I'd prefer not to know the specifics. But like, just give us a heads up and let us know, because we could be productive on another project. We could be making more time in our schedule for new things. So, you know, if you no show, like, let's forget about money, because that's the very first thing that people would think that we would be irritated about. And yes, that's a factor, but let's set money aside. It's just the time that we could spend doing something else that we are obligated to do. Like, you put a pause in our schedule for no reason.
Yep.
You know, that's the frustrating thing. And it's like I keep saying, it's almost, to me, I think it's more disrespectful to my other clients than it is to me. Because like, what entitles you to waste my time? What entitles you to that when they're waiting for the privilege?
There's a good mix of both there. Just disrespectful the day of, especially with, you know, such big pieces. Think about the time put into it and all that.
Yeah. Could you imagine,
as
like,
simple as that? But I mean, that's, you know, it's what it's always been. I can't really expect any different. Those things just happen. Prepare for it. It's just annoying, you know, when you kind of like base your bills around the money you make. You have a certain expectation for what you have, what you're going to do for the day or do for the week. Yeah,
but communication, like, we don't need to know specifics. We just need to know, like, hey, something came up, I'm not going to be able to make it. That's all we need. Just, or like I said, there's a 30% chance I'm not going to be able to make it. Then that gives us a chance to make backup plans. And nobody loses that way. You know, nobody is shortchanged that way. And also, another reason I keep saying I don't want to know details, I don't need to know, is I really don't like being lied to.
Yeah.
Like, and when I catch people in lies, it's like,
right.
It was easier.
It just kind of like bumps you down
does. You
on the moral platform to me. Yeah. Where like, we don't need to know details. In fact, I would rather not, like, whatever it is. I'm sure you'd rather be getting tattooed if you've already like had the consultation, started the project. I'm sure you'd rather be here, but just let me know you're not going to be able to, and we'll move it out a couple weeks. As an employer,
that was the worst. People would come in like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm late. Da, 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 da. I'm like, stop talking right now. Sorry, I'm late was enough. Go do your job.
Right. Don't give me this over explanation for it all.
Because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you weren't here. You know that. I know that. We're both standing here. We're both adults. Go do your job and show up tomorrow. Like, if you're not complacent about it and you know it was a mistake, whatever, just go on about it. Now, when you're late every day you're coming in with some different bullshit of, oh, well, this was no, your time wasn't appropriately valued. You knew that it was okay to be late. Now fuck off. You no longer work here.
Right.
I don't know. I always hated that. Like, well, this, that, and the other happened. Does that not happen every morning?
When I worked at the sign shop in Marion, there was a train track right maybe like 2 blocks behind where I worked. The track happened to be between where I lived and where I worked. At the time, I usually rode my bike to work. So it was a real awkward thing to come in, like, got stuck by the train again. But that's one of those situations where, like, I can't lie about it because, like, you feel the train rumbling in the ground. Like, if I'm not in the door at 8 o'clock and that train is rumbling by, you know, I'm going to be in as soon as the rumbling stops. Right. So.
But if the train ran at 7:58 every day, I'm not saying it did, but if the train ran at 7:58 every day, and every day you were caught on the other side of the train, about day 4, I'd be upset.
Leave 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was inconsistent.
That's on you. No, just, man, got caught by that light again. You're telling me as an adult, your whole time schedule today was blown off by catching an extra light on your way into work. Okay.
Yeah, let's just not even talk about it.
And then you'd have the people that rode the bus that showed up a half hour early and stayed a half hour late every day, didn't give a shit.
In Marion, the trains they'll lock up the tracks, and there's overpasses all through town. If I'm in a car, you're just going to go a few blocks up and go up and over the overpass. But on a bicycle, I just added 3 miles to my ride when it should be 6 blocks. Uphill.
You also added an up and over.
Yeah.
That was the part that hit me. You're like, change of terrain.
Yeah.
No.
Backtrack, figure 8, loop-de-doop.
Yep.
And that was with the shortcuts.
I went through someone's yard.
No, I cut back behind the bank. A little service alley that, like, fed back to like a tiny little substation. I think that's all the little road was used for.
Nice. It's my highway.
Mm-hmm. Spawn's way.
That's what I like about riding the bike. You'd be downtown and just like dip through an alley. Like, yep. Nobody else is comfortable doing this because there's cars parked on both sides. But look at me go.
You know, I find myself in situations in my van sometimes downtown where it's like, I'll fit.
Fuck it.
I am sure an Amazon truck went through there today.
That mirror's already scuffed. It'll be fine.
Oh man.
What you do is you judge the value of the vehicles on the car on the road real quick. And you're like, Hyundai, Honda. All right, we're good. We're gonna coast through this real quick. If it's Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, let's back this thing up a second.
Back up the truck.
Just a touch.
I did get myself in a situation where a road came to a dead end. Maybe it was a construction and it was barricaded.
Gotcha.
But I had to back the van up several blocks. And it's in skinny, tight situation like that.
I believe in you though. Yeah, you and Van Dango are
more like this.
Yeah, you good.
Tony was telling me about a van club that some friends of his are in here in town. It's called Vans on the Run.
Yeah.
I got to get with them. They have, I believe, an 05 Explorer with 250,000 miles on it.
What?
Mine's a 03 with 230.
Get it.
Vans on the Run.
I was waiting. I was like, no backup? Really, guys? Really?
I was waiting for the right timing.
I drove Sprinter vans for a while, and once you learn how to drive a big vehicle, it makes sense. And you'd whip into Kroger's parking lot in a 28-foot van, and she'd be like back into your spot. People are looking at you like, you didn't. You just one shot, one kick. Yeah.
Becomes intuitive.
So my stepdad taught me how to drive, and the very first thing I drove was a 1978 Ford short bed custom with a 4-inch lift, 4x4.
Yeah. Making it fit.
Sunroof. Did I mention custom?
Did I mention custom?
So that was the first one. And then he also had, that was my mom's truck, of course. And he had a Dodge. It was like all black sport edition, super sport, flat bumper, posi traction, These are what I learned to drive in.
Yeah.
We didn't start out on the road. We didn't start out on
In
a
a
field.
field.
We started out like 2-tracking through the woods, on the edge of fields, through rivers.
Right.
There, it's a bike trail now, but at the time it was just these railroad ties. It was like a bridge of railroad ties, probably a 200-meter long bridge,
Right.
just railroad ties. They took the tracks off of it. There were no sides to it, Ben. There were no sides to it. Some of the ties were missing. I had to drive forward and reverse.
Yeah. One-way road.
Did I mention the Dodge was posi traction?
Yeah, that's hard
So-
to reverse.
Steve liked taking me out. Like he'd as soon as he'd get home from work, he'd come straight home. He'd get off work at 7. I had school at 8. Load me up in the truck, and then we'd like immediately down the trail by the river. His buddy's been mud bogging back there. This is how I learn. We're on like muddy, super slick, tree ruts everywhere. These aren't even like, they're not even access roads. These are just like 4x4 trails that people have cut
roads,
through
yeah.
there. And like, there's always got to be a chainsaw on hand in one of the trucks. There's always got to be tow straps because somebody's going to get stuck. There's always got to be extra cam 2 sitting around because such and such's truck only takes alcohol, such and such.
Yeah. Who got the winch?
So he was always like, if you get her stuck, you're walking. My stepdad does not have a Southern accent, by the way. That's not what he sounds like at all.
But that's how we're living.
Yeah, he actually sounds very serious and like, you get her stuck, you're walking home. I believe you. So
we grew up in snow-filled parking lots,
that was the winter time.
and Dad was just like, "You want to do this?
Donuts?
Fuck yeah, I want to do donuts." But like, I remember being probably now too young to sit in the front seat, working the gear shifters with the left hands,
Mhm.
and it was just part of how we grew up. Like, we could run the gears 6, 7 years old. So like, I didn't own an automatic vehicle until I was in my mid-20s. Like, I loved it.
I got a dirt bike when I was 6, and it was like a legitimate 5-speed. So I learned the clutch shift
Yeah.
super duper young.
One of my dad's real good friends had a barn full of dirt bikes, and we went out there every third weekend and ripped them up. Young. I drove a tractor for money by the time I was 14. Like, we lived in Tascalo my freshman year, and people were like, "Yeah, I'll pay you. Come sit on this." I'd never worked a tractor in my life. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll cut your grass." Shit. Out there getting stuck. It was a good time. Good time. The driving was just such ingrained in us at such a young age. Like,
Mhm.
I don't understand how people don't know how to drive.
I mean, I remember being little itty bitty on my grandmother's horse farm, and we'd get my dirt bike out, and we'd go out and like kind of corral the horses.
Right.
Like that's how we wrangled them up.
Right. It was
Like,
it was part of being on the farm.
yeah, it was super effective.
I had
I mean,
s-
otherwise you had to run out there and make all the noise and
Right.
gather them all. I mean, not that it was a huge farm, but like, I think it was 16 acres altogether, and I think 12 was pasture. So
Right.
12 acres isn't a lot as far as farms go, but like
It's a long
it
walk.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long walk.
Yeah. To do it every day. So
Um,
dirt bikes made it much more fun.
I had 6 points on my license before I was eligible for my temps.
Nice, Ben.
It was just part of being a kid for us.
To be fair, I did drive way before I was 16, but we
Oh,
lived
yeah.
in such a small community, and like
We don't.
the police knew, like everybody knew who I was. I don't know. It was a small town. I had a weird name. I was a weird kid. Like I always had, like when I ran track, I always had like the loudest, brightest colored, like,
They knew ya.
tights and yeah, like I made it a point to stand out in the
Right.
crowd. So being that everybody knew me and everybody knew like me and my group of friends were mostly overachievers, we got away with anything and everything we wanted to.
Nah, opposite.
Yeah, we were good kids, so we got to do what we wanted. I always told my little sisters that was the trick to getting away with murder is like, yeah, like be cool, like be like, hey, Miss A, we're going to such and such for lunch. Want anything?
Right.
Like, be granted the permission. Bring back snacks.
We switched complete demographics when I started high school. Like we went from living in Whitehall, which is in town in city, to moving out to cornfields and 300 people in the entire school. So we went from one environment to a completely different one. So it was a real weird shift for us. So like, I don't know. I was never in that like hometown. Everybody knows who you are. Got to, you know what I mean? Like we were weird from day one. We came in with long hair and parachute pants and fucking.
You think that's what makes it so easy for us to be comfortable standing out in a crowd now? Is just being that like black sheep, so to speak.
What it did was give you a lot of scrutiny, and then once you proved them wrong over and over and over and over and over and over again, like the amount of times that I was attempted to be in trouble. We were told you were doing this, we were told you were doing that, we have to look into it, this, that, and the other. And every time they come up and you're like, dude, that's bullshit. Like, come on, like you guys know me now at this point. So by the time like I was doing dumb shit, they left me alone. They're like, oh, it's just Ben. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's, we tried to crack that egg. He's a solid kid. Little did they know.
Good act, sir. Good act.
Yeah. It took years. Paid off though. Paid off. No, we got such bullshit my first few years of school. Like they had a hotline that you could call as a student and leave an anonymous tip of things that you think were going wrong. And people would literally call and be like, we saw them dealing drugs. So the school had to look into it. Like it was part of the fucking program. They had to prove that they were doing what this hotline was set up to do. And so they call you down in the office, be like, now, Ben, were you selling drugs today?
No, ma'am.
So then it got to the point where it was like, we knew not to take anything to school. We knew not, you know what I mean? Like at any point we could be getting pulled down to the office. So like I bought a mesh book bag like you could see through it. So they like, what am I hiding? My brother and I got one locker. We shared a locker, so they would only have to search one spot. Like it was so ridiculous to the point that the principal got to the point where he's like, all right, guys, so here's the complaint today. And we're like, okay, does that, I mean, I was here doing this then, and he was in class over here. Are we done?
It's funny. I had a similar
Can we high
experience.
five
Only
leave?
once, though. One teacher passed me, goes back to school. I was, so where I lived like right on a main highway in town. And it was like my house, and then there was woods across the street. So I was walking down the side of the road with the woods on it, because that was the side that like I would turn on from my high school, and then I would like cross right in front of my house, because like it was a curve, but I had a good viewpoint right in front of my house. So long story short, somebody passes me, goes to school, and says I was standing in the middle of M66 and I had to be high. So I get called to the office, and like my art teacher even says something to me about it. She's like, hey, I heard something kind of peculiar about you. Is everything okay? And I was like, well, yeah. And she like lets me know who the teacher was, that was concerned. Later on the same day, I go down to the principal's office, and he was asking me why I would have been seen in the middle of M66 just standing there. And I was like, so like I live on the Meyer Hill. I was probably crossing the road in front of my house. And he was like, oh. I was like, yeah, I live in Snob Knob.
Like literally
Yeah.
was crossing the street. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Or yeah, there's a lot.
I just didn't. I don't think I fit. I don't think they like thought there was any reason I should be in that neighborhood. And to be fair, I did wear like a green army coat with like a Campbell's soup patch on it. And but I mean, it was, you know, it was my style. Long hippie hair. I mean, I get it. But like, I was an athlete. I didn't even have time to smoke weed in high school. Wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah, man. I was a pothead. But
I was not.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked like one. I definitely looked like a hippie, but.
Why are your eyes red? I worked until 10 o'clock last night. I have a full-time job. I'm a kid. What else do you want from me?
Child labor.
I mean, I had paperwork signed from school and from parents saying that I was allowed. Like, my boss would call us at school and leave messages for us in the office to go to work right after school. Like, shitty. Actually, we loved it. Like, it was cool to be part of something then. But like,
it is just kind of nice to like delightfully surprise people over and over again. Like, we heard this.
Right.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
When there's I think I graduated with like 67 people. You fucking knew each other.
Right.
Like you knew the teachers on a first name basis. They knew your parents. It wasn't there wasn't a lot of veil to lift. There wasn't the 400 person per class, like get lost in the crowd. Like, nah, we knew each other. Like, I run into people at the grocery store still. Like, how do you know my goddamn name? Like, oh yeah, you were 4 classes behind Jim and he was my brother. And like,
I get it sometimes when I go back, people will talk to me and they'll be like, oh yeah, you had such and such with so-and-so. It's like, No, I don't remember that, but I believe you.
Sure. I get told a lot of stories of things I did. I'm like, nah. No film, no proof.
And my favorite is somebody will be like, Baker, so is your family from around here? Da, da, da. And this is like when I go back up to work now. And I'll be like, well, actually, my stepdad's Steve Bosley. And they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Because he had so many people that worked for him throughout the years. And I'll be like, yeah, that's what I grew up with. Yeah, he was hard on us, but he was
stern.
So I feel like working for my stepdad would be awful. Like, if you were a good worker and you were smart and you caught on to things, great. You're not going to have a problem whatsoever. Yeah. If you're self-motivated and you just check things off the list and do the things that you're asked to get done, you're not going to have a problem with them. If you're the kind of person who works hard to not work. So one of the traits
that's fucking hilarious.
One of the traits that I learned from my stepdad is delegate, but don't ever ask anybody to do something that you wouldn't be willing to do. As a leader, you need to be willing to do the worst job and the easiest job. So with that in mind, he was like notorious for being the harder supervisor in the plant.
Right.
But like, if you were being lazy, he would just come up and start doing your job.
Right.
Like, and you would just stand there looking dumb while he was doing your job and still answering his phone calls. And people would just stand there awkwardly. And I haven't heard this from him. I've heard it from people who worked for him. But people would stand there awkwardly waiting for him to leave. And eventually they would just like mosey to the office. And like, then it turned into, I think I'm fired. And then it would be like, why do you think that? Well,
my station was consumed. I had a situation one time where I had a cook that was complaining about how hard his job was, and blah 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 blah. I was like, all right, you don't have to do it. What else do you want to do? Go pick something else. He's like, oh man, I mean, what? Well, yeah, you gotta just replace me. Yep, and a heartbeat. Like, he's like, oh yeah, well, no one can step in here and do my job. But that clout, that I am important, and I'm just kind of like, okay. Right. I looked over to the dish tanker and I was like, come here. about 4 minutes of training, and I had this guy running his station, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm like, you can go do tank.
Yep, that's
Go wash dishes, bro."
There's nothing.
He was pissed.
There's nothing. There's nothing funnier than just watching somebody feel stupid, but it's only like their own actions that got them there. Like, oh, you want to act like you don't know how to do this? Okay.
Your self-worth is over-evaluated.
Steve's famous one was, I didn't fire you. You fired yourself.
I gave you an opportunity that you let down. Yeah. That was my favorite, because now the dish tanker's like, I'm a fucking cook. Oh yeah. Like he's pumped. He's like stepping up to the plate and trying to prove something. And it was like, see, this is the difference. You're complacent and you think that, look how good I am. And it's like, in reality, you're doing a job.
Yeah. On the flip side, the cool thing Steve did for his workers is he would have, and it was the whole department. So not just his shift, but the whole department. He'd have like 3 huge parties a year where like our house was like, park your car in the yard, camp out, set up tents over there. There was like bonfire, volleyball, like they were like legit bashes. And like I said, our house was surrounded by woods, so we didn't have to worry about music or anything. So it's funny to hear like how much people either hated him or loved him. So like if you were good at your job, you showed up, and you didn't even have to be smart. You just had to work hard. That's it. Like you don't have like nothing impressive. Like he understands not everybody can do everything. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But like if you're trying to get out of work,
everybody has a
just not going to fly
somewhere that is applicable. You might not be the guy that can paint the competition speedboat, but hey, can you help run the
buff
hoses?
It out?
Can you help apply wax? Can you sweep the fucking floor? It might not be high. Everybody's got a place.
Honestly, there's always the person that has to hold the paper so it doesn't touch the ground.
Right.
Like you don't have to have any skill to do that job, but it's crucial to have that person to just hold this out so it doesn't touch the ground.
And while you're there, you're absorbing and you're learning, and heaven forbid you're applying yourself to something and trying to learn. But that doesn't happen anymore. People come to a job and expect to walk in and be the best one, and when they don't like it and they suck at it right off the rip, they quit and they go and try something else. And then I don't know. I admire people that are deep in a trade. I've been a welder for 25 years because that's what I do. I fucking weld things and I do it well, and people pay me a good rate to do it because this is what I do. Like
you can't have that clout right off the rip.
Right.
It takes like work.
You earned that.
You gotta like every piece that you work on becomes your calling card.
Right.
And that's how you've got to treat it.
Same with tattooing. Like you guys, every piece counts. Like
everyone. My goal, I've worked in so many different styles, but like every time I do a tattoo in a different style, it needs to be better than the one before it. Why? Just because I got to raise the bar every time. I got to try at least a few new tricks in every tattoo that I do. Like there's got to be something 1 step further or 3 steps further than the other similar projects that I've done like this. It's really important for me to grow. Yeah.
That's how you keep your drive going. That's how you stay out of that boring, mundane rut we've mentioned several times.
Start combining ideas and adding new flair that I've seen in other people's work, and like just new eye candy all the time.
You've seen a million bad tattoos in Vegas, and now you're like, I'll remember not to do that.
I mean, we already talk about like placement and fit and flow with the body. There were a lot of good examples why we talk about that.
Do you know why I don't know this doesn't work? Because I've seen it live.
I synced it with my eyes
in the wild.
Next time I travel, I'm definitely taking the professional looking camera, and we are getting some good footage and interviews.
I believe that there's probably an internet company that could provide us with some type of hanging lanyard that could say tattoo collecting podcast.
I believe we have a laminating machine at the office at Red Tree. Like so I think we are that company.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. I just need to make us all some of those.
We are that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's us.
Why are we official? Because we say we are.
Boom. I'm printing my own name tag.
Throw like the Reinventing logo on the back, our logo on the front,
Love.
with a little card with our fake credentials. I mean, they're real credentials. Like we work for Red Tree. We do this thing.
What are your real credentials?
Right, we
I
are
show
what we
up
say
on the
we
days
are.
I have off.
It just needs to be one paragraph of like what kind of content we're looking for and why we're looking for it, just so people can be like, oh, this sounds legit. You know, like 15 seconds, be like, oh yeah, okay. All right, this seems official. Yeah.
I think you're
You might not steal me.
You're overestimating how hard it is to get people to talk about their tattoos. Do you know how many times a day random people want to show me their tattoos? I'm serious. Hey, bro, good work. You want to see this? Nope. But here we are. We're checking it out. I bet we know the same guy.
True.
Do you know this guy? No. That's how that conversation goes every time. So, I mean, if you're making an effort to talk to people about their tattoos, I don't think it's going to be that. I barked at as a street carny. I don't think it'll be that hard.
You think it'll be easy?
I think it'll be super
I
fucking
think it'll
easy.
be easy.
Especially in a setting like Vegas where people are literally like wasting time, for lack of a better term. They're walking in between here and there, and they don't really have an agenda. They're down there to hang out for the day. They don't really have a schedule. And they're used to being approached by people on the street. It's not a awkward. We went downtown Columbus in the middle of the day for no reason and just started asking people to see tattoos. That might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But under a certain context where
if there was like a taco truck festival going on,
or maybe
people just standing and waiting in line.
Maybe some sort of tattoo event.
I'm just thinking of events that I miss in Columbus.
Regular fucking taco truck, you know, we're just there. I mean, I'm in. I like tacos.
Yeah. I bet we could walk up and down High Street and talk to hipsters with tatties.
I think if we had a format, it'd be a lot easier. Just
that's what I'm saying.
We're
Just
gonna
have
ask
one
you
little
4
paragraph.
questions. You ready?
Right. That's all we need. We just need a couple
First
things
tattoo,
to stir topic.
favorite tattoo, tattoo you regret. What else do you want to say?
We're assuming everybody has more than one tattoo.
Well,
I mean, you
know. The same tattoo might hit all those bases. It's my favorite, but I still regret it.
I mean,
It's the only one.
look at it.
It's there. It is a tattoo.
I'm not going to say I don't have cover-ups. Got a bunch of them fuckers.
Nobody's knocking cover-ups.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Why would you say it?
huh?
Why wouldn't you?
I'm just saying, like, everybody has a tattoo. They're like, maybe we should blast over that. Anybody that's seriously deep in a collection that doesn't have something that's been
My
tucked
first tattoo,
under
if I
or-
would have known that I was going to be covered the way that I am, my first tattoo would have been a lot bigger.
Ditto.
A lot
Same
bigger.
seas.
My first tattoo is like that
Same.
big. Maybe that big.
Was it on your leg?
My first
Just
one was,
above your ankle?
No,
This
it's on
right
like
here.
hip. It's a
can you see it underneath the blacked out?
Nope.
show it to that camera.
Show it to the camera.
That camera ain't gonna pick it up.
It's
It just looks like Blair.
Just a,
It was
Just
super
a
focused on you a
black-
second ago.
Oh yeah, if it focuses.
Here
give
we
it to
go.
my baby. I mean, my first tattoo was a little kanji symbol. You know, yay bigish. Cause why? I won't get tattooed.
What was your second tattoo?
Another kanji symbol by yay big. No, I'm just kidding. My second tattoo was a target over my heart. Yeah.
Which has been covered.
No,
No, that's still there.
my do not
The
resuscitate.
DNR.
Above it was what we covered. The target's still there.
You're like, no, I don't want that DNR anymore.
No, the target's pretty in there.
In there.
Yeah, it's seasoned to cover the red and black circles. Might prove to be challenging.
Okay.
That I fucking love it. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites. So I don't think I'd ever want to cover it.
That's fair. That's
But-
okay.
Then my third tattoo is my ribs.
That was your first big one.
Yeah, it was my third tattoo.
And you were hooked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone this far. Can't turn back now.
I went to my leg after that. Kept it all, I don't want to say hidden, but hideable.
Okay. How long before you started on your arms?
6 or 7 years.
A little while.
Maybe 6. I'm guessing. I don't know. It's blurry. It's all like fuzzy.
Ben was getting tattooed like every Friday for years.
It was every other week.
Every other week.
Every other week. Every time I got paid. I was on a retainer. I played a flat rate. I gave him the same amount of money every time I went in.
Dedication.
Yeah.
I like it like that. I
just-
like having the flat rate with my clients, and we know what to expect. We know what to budget. We
Always.
get a lot done.
I just wanted to be part of
Always.
the carnival, man. That's all it was. Like it was about hanging out. Like,
How long into getting tattooed did you start working at the tattoo shop?
Oh, years and years and years and years. I only briefly worked at the shop. I didn't work there that long. I was 3 limbs deep. Like my guy was retiring, like not even running the business, had retired for a while before I worked at the shop.
Okay.
And really when I went in, everybody that I had known was leaving. Not that I didn't know the guys that were there, but like the homies that I came up with
Mhm.
all left to go do their own things. It was kind of like, not that I was left with the people that were there. because the people that were there I love. There's no disrespect there, but it was a different shop. It wasn't the shop that I got tattooed at. It was now a different crew, different people, ran a different way.
I always joke around and call, like when Derb and I are talking and hanging out, I call our current Red Tree crew Red Tree 2.0.
2.0.
Like, and to be fair, Marty and I were the start of Red Tree 2.0
Right.
when Adam and
It's a
Rich
shop.
left to do their private studio and
Right.
then Rich's studio,
That's
Greystone Tattoo Company.
they're artists, man. Artists want to move and expand and create and do different and have their own. And it's the way of the tattoo industry. I mean, staff's turnover. We're
That's how
talking about
that's how a shop is in and of itself.
Mhm.
right, and we're talking about a street shop. That's the point of a street
Yep.
shop, is for an artist to come in there and develop and hone a skill and an expertise lane and a way that they want to learn and tattoo.
Yeah,
while
it's not
honing their
derogatory
craft.
at all though.
I
It's
love
just like
street
we're
shops.
just 2.0. We're the second Red Tree crew.
So-
I mean,
Yeah.
there'll be a third.
And I really only
know?
worked there for under a year.
With the second age,
hmm
third age is coming.
Third age is
Hopefully
good.
not too soon.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think everybody at the studio
I'm
is
pretty
kind
adapted
of.
to who's here.
Yeah,
like the
I think
team that
we're
we have.
all.
Feel
I
like we
think we're
keep
all real
having-
comfortable calling it home right now.
it's a living, breathing thing,
Uh-huh.
though, man. Like
But
one
people's
person's gonna want to
families
go
change.
to California, one person's gonna want to go check out, Hawaii, and
Somebody's gonna want to open their own studio.
yeah, it's part of
I
it.
think Derek's gonna end up opening another studio.
hmm
I don't know.
Good. Wonder who'd
They're
be
talking
a part
about
of that
Vegas
one.
ideas. He's
it's
shared some
tough.
ideas with me, but it's.
Same.
I don't want to throw any names around before anything's official, but
It's easy when it's your day to day and you're there and you're involved, but running something remote's it's tough. You got to trust a lot of people. So,
I can only imagine.
yeah.
but also there's good examples that
Oh,
as far as
absolutely.
structure already.
Absolutely. Like Columbus is extremely fortunate to have a very strong, very well ran professional street shops. We have some of
The
the
standards are pretty high.
We have some of the best that I
Mhm.
have ever been. Like you travel and you go out of town and you swing through a shop
Mhm.
because your buddy wants a trinket. Like I've been into a lot. I don't want to say a lot. I've been into a few shops, but Columbus is saturated. Not saturated. Columbus has.
Yeah, it's saturated. Columbus has a
heavy-
lot of tattoos.
They do, and most of them are in a very well-established, very professional environment,
Mhm.
very clean, very nice, very well ran, and it's cool to see like the level of professionalism that we have here. Because I mean, I've been other places and you walk in and they're like, hold on.
See that grime in the corners. And
You can tell the mop line is from where the guy wings it the same way every night and never actually touches that area. And
that was specific, Ben.
it was.
You had a picture in mind.
So it's nice to walk into a standardized process and electronic form. The technology's changed so much. The disposable
Mhm.
era is here where they're not some dude that's scrubbing tubes in the back, all disgruntled, may or may not be using the proper disinfectant. Like, you know, it's I don't know. We've got a very high bar of street shops here. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Columbus. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there are so many good shops that I feel like.
Shout out Joey Knuckles.
Yeah, for
He owns
sure.
half of them.
I didn't know if we were allowed to name drop, but like anything Joey
Yeah,
touches
Joey
is
was on
done.
he was on the podcast.
Okay, like literally anything he touches is ran absolutely correctly, professionally clean. You're gonna walk in and talk to somebody that is a professional at handling your idea and turning it into a good tattoo. It's a great place to start if you want a smaller sized, fist size, softball size, or larger tattoo, and you're afraid to go to a higher end artist, or that's how you want to start your collection. Go in and talk to people that do it all day, every day, and they'll set you up right. I love that entry level. For a collector, it can be extremely daunting to go up to a big name, someone that you look up to, see in a magazine, see on the internet, and be like, "Hi, blank slate." You know, it's a very daunting thing. So even just to go,
it might be daunting, but it really is that easy.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to make the contact. Like if you walk up to somebody and you're like, "Hi, I'm so and so. I'd love to get worked on by you." They're gonna say, "Cool, good to meet you. Reach out through this," and then follow the instructions. It's that
wants
easy.
to be a sleeve.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Right. And that's why those shops are perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect for that.
When you're adding the name to your tree of, you know, whatever, you don't want to go to the $1,000 artist.
And there's a lot of street shops, so you want to go to the ones that are good. And there's
Yeah.
definitely ones that are going to pump out some really good fucking, you know, smaller tattoos to even bigger tattoos, all of it, but definitely, you know, your more street style
I love it.
and all that. But then there could be a shop right next door that's pumping out, you know, they could be a street shop too, but none of their artists are hitting the mark.
And it's just one of those, like, I don't know, with such a good example, there's a lot of people still doing it wrong, and it hurts my soul. Like, there's no reason to ever have to deal with somebody that is making you feel less important than anybody else in the room. There's no sense in dealing with anybody that is not being professional in any way, shape, or form. There's no sense in dealing with somebody that doesn't respect your idea. If you don't feel comfortable somewhere, leave and go somewhere that's professional. It's a daunting task. You're exposing yourself. You're showing somebody a moment of strength or a moment of weakness through getting tattooed. That's a bonding moment. And you don't want to do that with somebody that doesn't give a shit. So go somewhere where your idea is respected and they like what you're saying and what you're doing, and you feel comfortable at. Like, do your homework. Look around.
Totally.
Street shops.
I feel like one of the things I like to like jump into and reiterate all the time is like, sometimes you go into a shop and you might not have the instant chemistry with your artist, and that's okay.
Right.
You don't have to get tattooed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if the vibe isn't there, like if it's not somebody that you're going to be comfortable just chilling and hanging out with in a close space for an hour,
hours to spend together,
then just hold off. And that way, you know, maybe even another artist in the studio could help, or, you know what I mean? Any professional street shop in this day and age, there's enough work to go around. Enough people want to get tattooed that like shops should share, like the most appropriate artist for the idea. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, if somebody comes in and asks for a bright colored mandala with some cool geometric fractal work behind it, like we're not going to recommend Dante for that. We're going to recommend Corey for that. You know what I mean?
We live in the day and age where social media and internet marketing is a thing. If you're thinking about getting a tattoo and you're like, people have told me to go to this shop, pull up some of their work before you go. Flip through some artist portfolios. If you don't know the right words for the style of tattooing that you like, flip through and find somebody that does what you like. You don't need to know that it is a biometric fucking all natural whatever. I don't know all the words to all the tattoos still. But if you can find someone that does stuff you like, your trust level should lie in their artistic ability. And even if you go in there with that idea and you're like, hey, I like the stuff you do, and then you're like, but you're a jerk, go back and find somebody else that know what they do.
Mhm.
You know, it's take the time. Don't settle.
Yeah, that's a good ballpark phrase. It's like, just because the first artist you talk to, you may or may not get along with it, you don't have to commit to getting worked on by that artist. You know, every tattooer has had somebody come in and ask questions and say, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Like, there's never pressure. And if there is pressure, don't. They should be pressure free.
Should we
And you
touch?
should feel comfortable.
Should we touch on the big deal that's going on with the Instagram thing?
I haven't really been following it this
I
past
haven't
week.
seen it in about a week.
Yeah. I kind of
But-
checked out while I was in Vegas.
Yeah, I imagine. But yeah, with that, there's a couple Facebook pages. Have you seen any of it? That
No,
are basically
I-
calling out tattoo artists, all sorts of tattoo artists around the country. Anyone who's been like weird and stuff. So people are over calling out people, and people are calling out actual fucking predators too, or people that have been really weird.
This is something that we've talked about before on the show. Not so much this specific instance, but
But like a
we did
lot
talk
of like
about,
being
like,
inappropriate, being inappropriate with your clients.
Yeah.
And like
you're making a
That's
don't make
permanent
people
mark
feel
on somebody.
uncomfortable and
That's
something they're going
rough.
to be around forever. And so, but these people are losing their jobs, their entire career is, being ruined from it. So there's like this double-sided thing of, some people it's happening to, like, is it true or is it not true? But then there's the ones that definitely are true.
There's bad seeds in every industry and everything. And unfortunately, since there's such a time to build a relationship and really see who someone is in that 2 and 3 and 4 hour time span of you getting tattooed,
Yeah, if you're creeped out the entire time.
there's something
Right. So
wrong
read the red
there.
flags. If you're feeling uncomfortable with a tattoo artist, don't get tattooed by them.
Now, on the flip side,
and there's the chances of you getting a creepy tattoo artist, I think, are fairly small, especially if you're,
I
you're
just
looking for
gotta
really
say
good work
this,
and
though.
really seeking people out with good reputations. There's a reason why people have good reputations, but also if like even those people with good reputations creep you out, like, I mean, follow your intuition on that.
Yep, definitely follow your intuition. But one thing that I think everybody needs to be reminded of is there was a time and a place where we could take a joke. And
Right.
tattoo shops are filthy places.
They
There's a
can be.
lot of innuendo.
Right.
There's a lot of like, we all get on a roll where like every other thing out of our mouth, like whether on purpose or on accident, where every other thing is perverted.
Right.
Like it just happens sometimes. So the thing I just want to, it would,
Just keep that in mind and know your client.
yeah.
Right. Then there's usually a line though. There's usually a line where it gets crossed where people won't even really take it wrong unless like that was really weird. You
Yeah.
know, like why like that was really weird. Like if you're gonna sit there in awkward silence with your tattoo artist who's doing like a really big dope tattoo on you,
Mhm.
like you're imagine like
I wouldn't want to be.
there's
awkward
more
and
reason to it
uncomfortable.
than just like a slightly like perverted joke. It's like, oh, that was weird. But I'm sure there's definitely
I'm
those
just
people
saying.
who are just going to take things wrong because they're just those types of people.
Right.
They're going to, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Oh, you can't say that type of stuff about gay people, or you can't say that type of stuff
Unfortunately,
about this people.
sometimes look for reasons to be offended as well.
Mhm.
And I do
This
not.
is what I was trying to get at.
Sometimes once you step back and look at a situation and you see other people saying, oh yeah, this guy was so rude and so forward and so pushy and this, that, and the other. And then you're like, well, wait, he did make that one joke. And now it completely changes your whole perception because someone else is actually being super creepy and is actually making advances. And so now under the microscope, when someone steps back out of the situation and says, oh, wait, yeah, he did make that one off comment.
Mm-hmm.
You're not remembering the whole situation and how you felt during it. You're remembering that one off-colored moment. So
Right.
again, with the default.
So- This is not
Yeah.
sexual in nature at all, but at a previous shop that I worked at, the owner was half Jewish. So it just tickled her to make Jew jokes all the time. So, that would be something that a client or somebody just waiting around could be very offended by
Right.
if they didn't realize, like,
understanding the circumstance.
yes. So those are the things to keep in mind is like sometimes you only hear sometimes like for instance, we've got the tattooed dildo that's stuck on walls all over the
Right,
shop.
right.
That's been floating around Red Tree for like 4 years. And
Right.
it's kind of like it's
Well,
ended
it
up
was
in
part
my
of- It
toolbox.
was
It's
part of an
ended
art
up
show
on
at one
the
point.
mirrors. Like Could a client potentially be offended by that?
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, I've got a sign on my wall
fuck
that
'em, it
says
says
pussy
18 and up.
wagon. And if
Mhm.
and if you haven't seen Kill Bill and you don't understand the innuendo,
Right.
that could be offensive. You know what I mean?
Anything
I feel like it's
can
the
be
community. It's
offensive.
just so much. It's the communication, because like the things that really, really bother me about the people who do get called out are the ones who use information that people have to their advantage. So say you have someone's phone number, you have their email, you have
Mhm.
contact information, you have all these things, and someone leaves. You did a tattoo on like an
Now
attractive
they're-
girl,
now
or a
they're
girl
hitting
did
them
an
up.
attractive guy. And so then they're texting them afterwards and stuff, and now like, you know, starting to flirt with them. But even like, let's say the client goes with it, let's say the client doesn't go with it. If the client does go with it, there's still, that doesn't matter, you still are in a position of some sort of power, because now you're doing a big ass tattoo. Maybe that was a session you did, and now you're gonna have multiple more sessions, and now you're putting
Mhm.
somebody in a position of,
If
now
I
we're
don't
like,
hang
oh,
out
fuck.
with them,
Right. And so I mean, obviously they shouldn't hang out with them or do any of that. You should definitely, you know, have
See,
like
I've never-
stick up
I've
for
never thought of
yourself,
it that way.
stick up for yourself in that end. But also, you know, I can see how someone could feel really awkward about that. Like, oh man, I don't want to flirt with them, but I'm going to be extra nice right now because, you know, they're working a big tattoo. Oh shit, they're being super forward. I guess this is how they are. Let me,
I guess I never thought
I
about
don't
the
know.
continuation of information.
and that's what a lot of these
That's
things
why
are.
I think it's just so
I don't like the power thing there. I don't like
Mhm.
where someone has like, you
we've
know,
got
that
such a
over
special
someone.
relationship with our
Tattooers
clients.
forgets about that.
Yeah, I like we some of our clients, we're going through some of the most vulnerable moments of their lives with them, and I feel like it's not fair to them. It's not fair to like future loved ones. It's not fair to family members. Like if we're attaching intentions like that to a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's not fair.
Right.
It's a permanent mark that they have forever. It's not like
You're gonna make
a
them
memento
regret
that they can
that.
throw away. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You shouldn't be putting a mark on somebody that
With
for
a
any
negative
reason
connotation.
they're going to have any reason to regret it
Right.
later on.
Right. It's not about you.
Do you know how
Experience isn't
many-
about you. You
The
might be
thing
making
is,
the art, but
I have covered good tattoos, and when I have a consultation with somebody and they're like, I just want this covered and it's good,
they just didn't like the
I
experience.
have a female in mind that I had a consultation with. But yeah, it was like a half sleeve. It was black and gray. It was pretty well done. She just wanted it covered. She wanted it gone. Like it was never even there. Anything. I could put anything I wanted to over it. And I was like, well, I mean, this is good work. What's up? And she just tells me that the guy creeped her out the whole time and like was hitting on her and like asking if he could call her, and like he just crossed so many lines.
Women have enough
that
to deal with when it
yeah,
comes to that
he
type of stuff
crossed-
anywhere they go.
he crossed so many lines that she stopped the appointment. Like she stopped. Like
Wow.
they were almost finished and she like left. So, you know, my question anytime I am covering or finishing an existing tattoo or anything like that, it's always like, why?
Right.
What's going on? And it's always discouraging when it's the work is fine, but it's the energy attached to the work. Like the idea is even what they wanted, but it's the energy and the creepiness of the artist, and they just want that erased. That's the worst case scenario, and that's why we're having this conversation, just because it's such a special privilege to walk somebody through their tattoo journey. It's not.
It's literally a sacred thing getting it.
Yeah.
Whether you're
Right.
someone who sees it as that or not, it is what it is.
Right.
Something that's going to be on you
It's
forever.
permanent.
You're going to have all sorts of memories tied to it. The memories from that time in your life, the
Mhm.
memories that are imprinted from that experience in general. So hopefully the artist is making a good experience for whoever this person is.
Even
Like-
if the tattoo isn't sentimental, like I
It's
got a
still
lot
a
of
sacred experience,
it's
though.
the time you mark.
Do you still
that
remember
moment
the
in
conversations you had with Wes while you were being worked on?
Absolutely.
And conversations you had with Rich?
But it's
Do you
more
remember
of
conversations with Adam and Guy? Like
the
things
just
I
like
would
they're
say-
yesterday,
To
right?
me, they were the most sacred because like I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for like even the tattoos that I got. I
Mhm.
wouldn't be in the industry the way I am right now if it wasn't for the first inspiration of being like, oh, Adam, will you tattoo my arm? And then
Yeah,
I go with the Red Tree and realize, holy fuck, everyone here are like the coolest people ever.
Right.
You know, come to 2-3 years later, I work here.
I'm not saying the tattoo isn't sentimental. What I'm saying is it marks that
No,
era
I
in
yeah, I
time.
get
Like
it.
it's the things that were happening in your life while you were doing that. Like, oh, I remember when I was doing this arm. X, Y, and Z was going in my life. So it's not even necessarily.
It's funny to hear
specific
you
to
and
the
your
art.
wife go
Yeah,
over your
no,
timeline
exactly.
based on like which tattoos you had when.
So when people are like, when I introduce somebody I've known for a long time, they've known me since before I had tattoos, and people are like, oh, y'all known each other for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you go back.
Right.
That's how it be.
I knew you before sleeves. Okay, you know cred.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't
Trying
know.
to think back to an empty me.
It's weird.
It's funny when I see pictures like full pictures of me without any tattoos because I don't know. Like
Fun.
sometimes I forget they're there, but
Right?
I look at this open space.
are you
every day.
ready?
I'm about ready. You got time?
I got you,
time
bro.
soon?
I'll set you up.
Give me a time and how much you want me to give you? Oh, I don't. I'll just give me a price when we're done. I'll just pay you.
Yeah,
whatever.
when we're done, we'll
I
talk.
don't care.
We'll talk numbers.
I'll set you up today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
That wigwag stuff. I think that's going to be the ticket. I think it's going to be the ticket, and
I'm
I think
stoked.
also like in these negative spaces, we can probably bring color up into
Yeah,
through
make
this
it all
entire thing, so no skin tone really left.
make it all look super prismatic.
Blasty.
Wall to wall saturation.
One goal we need to do: this straight line needs
You want
to
that to
not
be-
be a straight line anymore. Like if there's some sort of hardcore black work blending out
Okay.
that you want to do,
Okay.
or something,
We'll
and
come
it
up
can
with it.
morph into some fucking fractal wigwag. I'm gonna leave that up to you,
We can
Ben.
come up with it.
I got you, bro.
I sorry, Fawn.
Got
Ben.
you, bro. I got your fractal wag right here. It's coming at you.
So here's the question. Do we find a really cool wigwag or do we make a really cool wigwag?
I think we make. I think you just like draw like some string theory. Just get into lots of lines.
Just find like a super cool sunset.
Oh,
I think what I'm going to do is find a super cool sunset with like stripes of clouds, the horizon, and then a reflection. I think I'm going to liquefy it and then wigwag the horizon. And then I'll make the colors extreme. So it'll be like a black, orange, purple, hot pink, and blue. Or we could do red instead of hot pink. We could go red
Mm-hmm.
with it. I don't know if you want to do hot pink.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'll wigwag
Work.
your horizon.
Hey.
See? Anything can be dirty.
He said he was going to wig my wag.
I don't even know what that means. I'm scared.
I liked it. Oh, I know what it means.
Oh, you don't?
I've
You may have just walked into something.
I
Bobo.
watched people wigwag.
Wobble, 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 wobble.
Close.
Oh, man.
All right, guys, 10 more minutes.
Oh, jeezy.
I mean, we could probably start wrapping up now.
Time flies when you're smoking blunts.
I drank
Yep.
a lot of coffee today, if you know what I'm getting at. I got tinkle so bad.
Tinkle times.
Tinkle time.
All right, well, let's wrap it up then. Come on, B. Wrap it up. Wrap that shit up.
No, I think
You're
it's been a
supposed
great
to start
episode.
rapping right then.
Wrap it up.
In the
I didn't know what was
future-
popping up.
In the near future, we will be doing a remote show at my friend Dustin's studio up in Marion. He worked for me a few years ago. He's an excellent, like, traditional tattooer. His lettering's beautiful. He's a solid tattooer, a solid dude. But his studio is set up like a traditional, like traditional walk-in shop. It's filled with hand-drawn flash all over the walls. He's got hand-lettered signs. There's a tattooer in Bucyrus, Ohio named Brenton Potter, and he came down and he hand-lettered all the signs for him.
Nice.
He's also a musician, so he's got a guitar sitting around. It's a really nice little lounge.
it.
But I'm really looking forward to doing a remote with him, just so we can like pump his shop, get him a little bit of
When's that?
sometime in the next few weeks. We were talking sometime in July, so I'll get with him and we'll get a specific date narrowed down.
Do we have someone for next week?
My
Because
phone died.
I'm thinking
Can't look
if
at my
not,
schedule.
Tony really wants to come on. We should get Tony on.
Cool.
I will be in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Or
Maybe
you're gonna
that
be in
will just
Appalachia?
replace Ben with Tony,
T double dubs.
guest correspondent T Dub. next week.
T-Dub is one of my favorite people.
I'm same here. I want to sit with Tony.
Yeah.
I need some solid Tony time.
You know what I found? I was going through some of my old videos looking for something else, and I have the whole video of his rap performance, not the one that's on YouTube, but I've got both songs in my video, and they're good because you know me with my angles.
You know me, I'll be chopping it up.
I try to be intrusive so my videos look great. But that would be cool to play that. We can bring him in with that and outro with it.
If Tony, yeah.
It'll be the surprise.
Any of his raps and any of his music or anything.
But
we need to throw it on.
I got his Hell City performance.
Just
it was like just a few days before his stroke.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Just slowly bring it up in the background. Don't even say anything.
Just like have it just playing right here.
Run it on the loop and then start it.
Yep. Okay, so we'll have most likely Tony next week, and then in the very near future, we will be coming live and remote from our friend's studio called Integrity Tattoo. That's what it's called.
Nice.
In Marion, Ohio.
All right.
Yeah, that'll be a good segue. That'll be a good walk-in shop to talk about expectations of walk-in studios, quality walk-in studios. They exist. So
speaking of, we'll show you a good example.
Yep.
Fun,
all right, guys.
Thanks for letting me hang out, guys. It's always a good
bye,
time.
guys. You
We'll
know
see
where
you
to
next
find us.
week.
TattooCollecting.com and Reinventing the Tattoo. Lots of fun stuff coming soon.